Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Like all family members here, but for those of our family, of the worldwide family, we turn toward Holy Jerusalem. Wherever you may be on this planet Earth, turn toward Holy Jerusalem. Men are to uncover their head, women are to cover their hair when praying or prophesying within the assembly. Y'all, we hold our hands up high as it says in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 8. Y'all, we look for our Redeemer to come and save us out of our captivity. Long live the King.
Long live the King. We get this opening prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of his only beloved and begotten Son, our uncrowned King, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. Reading in the book of Psalms, in the 43rd chapter, it reads, "Judge me, O Yah, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. For thou art the Elohim of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me unto thy holy hill and to thy tabernacle. Then will I go unto the altar of Yah. Unto Yah my exceeding joy. Yea, upon the harp will I praise thee, O Yah, my power. Why art thou cast down, O my soul? And why art thou disquieted within me? Hope in Yah. Hope in Yah. For I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my Elohim. Hallelujah! Say that!
Like I said, before we get started, y'all, just got one quick announcement, y'all. For all y'all know and heard on the radio, Levi Raphael, he speaks of his moms a lot. His mom transitioned the other night, but he's okay, y'all. Got all of what she instilled in him locked and loaded. So the family is good. All the children was around her. So her transition was like I say, sleep was sweet.
All right.
You know, I want to send shouts out to y'all. We need to get some prayers up to our brother Andre Israel, you know, his wife Luciana. He's going through a little bit of rough time right now with her health just a bit, so y'all we need to send some prayers up for her. Get some healing strength sent her way. And also to Sister Ada, House of Ron Tooby, a big trucker's wife, we ask for continued healing blessings for her as she continue on to with her boss. So with that, y'all, we're gonna get right to the heart of the matter of today's class: spiritual liberty, which in other words is called freedom. And how can you have freedom in captivity? Well, we're gonna show you, because the Most High didn't set us up for failure. He showed us how we must enjoy this life, enjoy your labor. Y'all, so that we don't get stagnated and wait on the second coming. You can find yourself missing your whole life in that mindset because you're sitting and waiting for something to happen. And you may not even be sure what generation we in concerning that. So y'all, we're going to deal with the word spiritual liberty and what it consists of, so that there's no misunderstanding, y'all, because the doctrine of Christianity thinks it means you can do whatever you want to do because I'm saved already. My liberty allows me to eat whatever I want to say whatever I want to to perform however I want to receive gifts however I want to, void of the law. And on the Hebrew Christianity side of this liberty that they don't want you to have, because they will stick you under Aaron without your knowledge. And understand what it say, the leaders of this people calls us to Aaron. So if you are fighting liberty, we're going to get some understanding today, so that one may keep comprehending that we're dealing with a priesthood issue. Y'all, it's simple. It's going to keep coming down to the same thing. Right, the priest that was promised to come, that was priest, king, and prophet. The trifecta. So y'all, that's what we're going to talk about, and that liberty granted to all men that believe on his name. So with that, y'all, how we always ask, anything on your heart, mind, and soul that we can hit really quickly before we get started? What you got back there, G?
Epstein is dead.
Epstein is dead. The pedophile hung himself this morning.
Really?
Yep. Yes, sir.
But listen, today is the 9th of August.
10th.
10th of August?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. So y'all, with that, just saying that y'all know how they play. He had too many names he knew about. And he's looking at himself, you know, is it better for me to get on out of here and go to trial? But that's what the Most High said that it would be like when you behave like that. It'd been better that you tied a millstone around your neck. And that's what he did, tied a millstone around his neck. But y'all, he could have had some help with that millstone, like a few people who may be on a list that's been over there to pedophile island. Anybody got anything else before we get rolling? What about out there, Tubai? Anybody asking? Anything on their heart, mind, or soul we can get to before we get right to the lesson? We good? Okay, y'all, we're going to start this off in Galatians, the 5th chapter.
Where?
We're going to get a little understanding today, y'all. And it's very important because of what you see in here. It sounds like in one breath, Paul is saying the law don't matter. It sounds like he's saying ceremonies don't matter. But he ain't saying nothing that ain't already been said by the Father. That he'd rather have obedience than sacrifice. You want to make sure, y'all, we ain't trying to sacrifice our way into the kingdom, because it ain't going to work. Galatians 5th chapter, y'all, we're going to go to. Start at verse 1. Huh? What you saying?
I was saying the whole thing.
Okay.
All of it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We rolling.
All right. Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
With the yoke of what?
With the yoke of bondage.
See, so what the subject matter is here, y'all, and this is how we get understanding. There's always going to be a subject matter. Don't let nobody ever change the subject matter at hand. If you point to a verse 4 verses down, that's not the subject matter. That may be fruits of the subject matter, but it's not the intent of the message, unless it applies to the subject matter. So y'all, we would always want to do that so we don't get cherry picked into the wrong understanding. So we see here that the key words is Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. It's like he let you out of jail, but you keep circling back and keep trying to let the CO let you back in. You just want to visit some of your old friends in jail. No, he didn't set us free for us to go back to our old ways. And it says nothing about set us free from our captivity.
Right.
When you get set free up here, y'all, this helps you deal with the captivity you in. That way, they can't keep you in bondage. See, you may be behind bars and have chains on you, but they can't chain this. This is what if to chain this is greater than you could ever chain somebody like this. If you chain this, you can let them go free without this, and they'll obey. They won't go past that line right there because they got them up here, mentally bonded. So they know I can't walk past that pole right there. Master will get me. No, but the Most High tells you how to be free within this captivity so you can go anywhere you want to go. But it got to be according to the rules, y'all, because the law supersedes everything. It supersedes his gifts. Because before he give them to you, it has to come with an instruction manual so that Satan don't use that gift against you. Because he will. If he gets you to lie to that gift, that's going to be a problem for you. So y'all want to get some understanding. Go ahead, bro. Read some more.
Verse 2.
Behold,
I, Paul, say unto you, that if ye be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing. For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law.
So, do we think liberty means now that you don't have to do the law because of liberty and you're indebted to the whole law if you believe in circumcision? Well, let's just hold that. Hit me a little bit, Isaiah 55, a little bit of 8 and 9 I want to get to, or is it Isaiah 59, the word? Nobody uncircumcised in heart of flesh. Let me get that right there, maybe. Maybe 55 I'm looking for. Know what I want? Nobody. 59? Nobody circumcised in heart or flesh. I'll get that, but read a little more where I find that. That thought just came to me, so I know it's in Isaiah 55.
Picking back up in Galatians.
And I'll get that.
Verse 4. Christ is become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law.
By what?
By the law. You are fallen from grace.
See, so now we got another issue here that we thinking if you're justified by the law, you're fallen from grace. So now we have to get some understanding. What is grace that you can fall from that by thinking the law justifies you? See, and what we're talking about, you can do all, if we count them, it may be more or less 613 laws. If you say I do every one, I'm getting into the kingdom. Well, the problem is you can't do every one in a sense because they apply to behavior. So if, for instance, say like the beard law, that's no problem for me because ain't no beard there to worry about. So understanding from that perspective, but I'm still on the hook if I was able to have one, so to speak. But Paul is not telling you don't worry about the law under those circumstances. If we notice what he's going to do, he's going to be constantly talking about the flesh. And that's all he's talking about is the flesh versus the spirit. We got a fleshly priesthood called Aaron. And we got a spiritual priesthood called Melchizedek. He was raised in the fleshly priesthood. He was magnum cum laude in the flesh priesthood. He was a Pharisee, a chief of the Pharisees, that he was able to slaughter Israelites that didn't believe in the law. He was given permission to perform those acts against individuals. So he's saying, I had to get my mind straight. The road to Damascus changed my mind. But he never said it changed the law. It changed his mind about the law. Two different things, y'all. So we don't want to get that misunderstood. Go ahead, read some more, bro.
All right. Verse 4. For in Jesus Christ, for we through the Spirit wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. For in Jesus Christ neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but faith which worketh by love. Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that ye should not obey the truth?
So who did hinder you? Because it says circumcision or uncircumcision don't mean nothing. Because there's step one first. Your heart have to be circumcised. Right. Your mind. Then the flesh responds to what the mind is telling you. If your thought process is the flesh will train my mind. If I get circumcised outwardly, that'll fix my mind because every time I look at it, then I'll do right. Well, you're going to be pulling yourself out in public if you have to look at circumcision to do right. Well, I got my fringes. I can look on them to do right. If you still ain't put them fringes on your heart, having them on your shirt sleeves or the border of your garment ain't gonna make a difference. Y'all, we got to understand it should be up here and then it moves to right here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Y'all good?
Yes.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 8.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, bro.
This persuasion cometh not of him that calleth you. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
So we see how Paul jumps right back on course with saying the same thing. All it takes is that much to throw you off course. If you don't know what priesthood we're speaking of, you're going to be off course. Because the law is going to be presented with different subject matters. And the subject matters. So that's why he's saying a little leaven, and all it takes is a little bit of like this, like it's Joseph the dad. All it takes is just a little bit. Come on now. How was you born in this world? Just that little bit will wipe away 99% of that. She's saying, I have never known a man. He's talking to the angel about who's the baby's daddy. And it was a supernatural intervention in his sleep to correct this matter. So when he wake up, he perform what he's supposed to do. All of this is happening not by happenstance. But if subject matter change on you, you'll overlook all of that and deal with a cherry pick. Y'all know what that's like. Picking boogers. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 10.
Uh-huh.
I have confidence in you through the Lord that ye will be none otherwise minded. But he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be. And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision, why do I yet suffer persecution? Then is the offense of the cross ceased.
See, so basically what Paul is saying, if I preach circumcision, look, I'm circumcised. On the eighth day, a Pharisee of the Pharisees. What? I'm not here to talk about that. If I'm doing that, then I'm missing the point about Christ. Why did I get circumcised? What was the covenant for? Who was the agreement with that I get circumcised in the first place? Who was the first person that was talked to about this circumcision? So do we ask, from Adam to Abraham, was anybody circumcised?
Right. And couldn't it also be that he's saying that this circumcision that I am, I had no choice in this? You know,
Well,
because it was the law.
It's law.
That he was circumcised. He was circumcised when he grew up and realized, yes, I've been circumcised by the law on the 8th day.
Yeah.
But what does that circumcision profit me now?
Right.
Is he saying that something like that as well? That the fact of it is, I'm circumcised just because I had to be circumcised.
That's right.
It's just like us being baptized when we were children.
Yeah.
We had no idea what was going on, no clue to that.
Absolutely. But you know, those who performed it knew what the rights was. That's why I keep going back to them, the elders of this people, the leaders of this people, caused them to err. So, like he's saying, today's, you leave the hospital, Shalom says, you leave the hospital today, what, 1 or 2 days when the baby's born? So they're not circumcised a lot of times, or they circumcise them that same day that they put them out. Will not throw you out, but tell you gotta leave here. You ain't got to go home, but you got to leave here. So they circumcise you then on the first or the second day. Is that a 6-day violation of circumcision? Okay, who got money to take your baby back on the 8th day to get circumcised? Okay, so do we have any skilled knife men out here that you can take your baby to on the 8th day?
I could do it with a rock.
That you trust? A rock?
I could do it with a rock.
No.
One of them smooth stones like you got up
boy,
there.
it'll be awful jagged, I'm afraid.
Baby won't feel a thing.
Nah, I'm sure the baby won't feel a thing. So y'all, once we keep understanding where he's going with this covenant, because you have to keep in mind there was a covenant already made on Mount Sinai. He's not talking about that. What he's trying to get you to do is go back before Mount Sinai, because it's the covenant was made with Abraham, who was 90 years old, at least before he was circumcised. So once again, was Adam circumcised? See, these are a lot of questions before you start saying Paul is breaking the law. And that's some stuff the Romans put in there, so we'll be violated. Paul never said spiritual circumcision is out. Not one time. He's talking about the flesh. It's not no regard. Because the law right here says you must be circumcised, but the law say in where first? In your mind, which leads to your physical heart. Then the flesh responds. But if it comes the other way around, your circumcision will dictate to your spirit what to do. And then you'll be in violation of guarding your loins with truth. Because you got the flesh doing it first. And then when you're with the wrong person and you got hold of that covenant and you're doing wrong, ooh, what is the flesh doing? It's trying to make an illegal marriage now, ain't it? Because you got the covenant in your hand, don't you? We ain't going to go no further with that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, sis.
So when the spirit is like the spirit is saying, I want to do right, and you override the spirit.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm talking about. When the flesh dictate to the mental, when the outer cup dictate to what lives forever, this is going to die. This is going to whizzle away. When you trust in this and then you still breathing oxygen, this ain't going to perform the way it used to. It can't throw a fastball the way it used to. But the soul lives through eternity. So your mindset got to be on what lives forever, not what on dies or what's been marked to die at 70. Why would you trust this and make it the ruler over what's eternal? If you trust this to work over what's eternal, guess what eternal gonna do? It's gonna die like this because it's corruptible doctrine. All it takes is a little bit of flesh doctrine and it'll corrupt your whole soul. What is it for a man to gain the whole world and do what? It ain't hard, y'all. It's just you have to understand and keep in mind the subject matter. Paul told you who he was. A magna cum laude in the law. A Pharisee of Pharisees. I know it. I killed Stephen based on the law that was given to me because he was talking about some Messiah. So I killed him on the law. So Paul is saying, I had the law, I kept it all, but I didn't have Messiah. Right.
especially not in the priesthood that it should be in. This is why Messiah is saying, on that day there should be many saying, Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? He said, I don't know you because you prophesied me of a different priesthood. The priesthood of Aaron was not what I'm talking about. It's a schoolmaster, and it should be left as the schoolmaster. Don't bring that into the supernatural realm. Because what you do is you elevate Aaron and Moses again and already punished both of them about that. That's why they couldn't come into the kingdom. Now you still want to play with that? It's going to be a problem, y'all. So this is all he's saying in a nutshell, but it's hard when the law is there and it sounds like he's saying don't do it. Then the next breath he's saying, but keep it. Oh, I'm just so confused. You're only confused because you don't know priesthood. If you in a camp and they are not telling you who's the high priest and what the priesthood we are currently under, you're in trouble. Because he don't care because you know what his Hebrew name is. You don't care about you know all of that. But if you are doing all of that and you're doing it from Aaron's priesthood, you're wasting your time. Let's get some more.
Verse 12.
What it say?
I would they were even cut off which trouble you. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh.
To the what?
To the flesh. But by love serve one another.
So right here by the law, because we know love is the keeping of the commandments, so it's the law. It ain't talking about what Sunday Dr. Chief agape love or love you like a fat kid love ice cream. You know, none of that love you want to make it that way. It's according, love is the keeping of the commandments. If you love me, do what? So we understand what love he's talking about, but you see that word flesh again? Not taking liberty to the flesh. See, if you use the flesh for the liberty that's granted to you while we're in captivity, you're going to lose this. Because then the flesh going to turn the Sabbath on you. That's why he say, if you break one point in it, you're guilty of all. Because every law has two portions to make sure you do it correctly. The Sabbath day. Thou shalt do what for 6 days? Work. And then thou shalt do what on the 7th day? So if there's nothing going on 6 days, does one opt the other one out? Look, you ain't tired, are you?
Is one day different from another?
Well, you shouldn't be tired. Because it's been already 6 Sabbath days.
You should be tired of not being tired.
Absolutely. So you can't X one out to do another one. You must keep the whole law, and each law is a whole. It comes with 2 parts of a law. 2 parts always. It tells you this, and then this is the other part. It always comes with a manual in case this gets broke. Here's the fix with it. There ain't no fix for keeping the law and not accepting Messiah. You're going to lose it. Because you're going to try to get a replacement for Aaron. Because Melchizedek says there's no more Melchizedek priests, high priests, I should say, coming. Christ is it. If you deny him and bring up another Melchizedek, it's going to be a problem. Because that Melchizedek got dying flesh. Benjamin Carter had dying flesh. Hugh Lyon Mitchell had dying flesh. Jim Jones, David Koresh, and anybody else you trump up with dying flesh, and you call them Messiah. Let's get some more.
Verse 13 again. For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty, only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another.
You see how even liberty now has the law on the side of it? It say, but you can only do it by law. See, so you have to understand the law when you have a different high priest. Moses said, look, I'm giving y'all the law off of Mount Sinai, but there's another brethren coming. Get that for me just really quick. Deuteronomy 18 so we can understand this. Of your brethren, who's going to supersede what I'm talking about? And he's saying of your brethren. He didn't say of Levi. He said of the brethren of the 12 tribes. One of your brethren is coming. He's going to supersede me. He's not going to be out of Levi. And they saying, how can that be possible when Levi is God's chosen inheritance of the priest tribe? Well, Genesis 49 will tell you what Levi did as a priest with Simeon and this covenant of circumcision. See, it gets right back to understanding the law, what Levi and Simeon did. They circumcised a group of Hamites that raped Dinah according to the covenant of everlasting, and they slayed them with it. See, that's a covenant of flesh. That's how they looked at circumcision. Because, man, we just cut the little skin off of them. Then we're going to cut their heads off. See, so the covenant didn't mean anything that Abraham was given in that vision. And then Genesis 15, when he split the calf, so to speak. And the Most High went through that splitting of the calf and sealed that covenant that started for 400 years, a covenant, and then y'all gonna come into y'all promised land. When Simeon and Levi did what they did, they are to hell with that covenant. It's just flesh. But see, it gave them a advantage to do the work fleshly. See, if you're about the Most High, then you would have followed the law that 10,000 will fall at your side. If Simeon and Levi would have went up in there righteous, but they went up in there with craftiness. And they let them get circumcised, voiding out the covenant of circumcision. And when them men was laid up with their legs wide open, that's when they attacked. So you attacked a group of people that were defenseless with your covenant on. So Levi, now Judah steps in as the fourth brother. And the scepter falls on Judah. If y'all don't understand that, you're going to be stuck under iron. Let's get some more. Where we at?
You want this Deuteronomy 18 or what?
Yes, sir. Give me right to where another coming of your brothers, 9.
When thou art come, when thou come to the land, it's similar.
One right of your brother. Hold on, give me that.
No.
Is it 18 and 15? That's what we want then.
Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15.
What it say?
Says, the Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet.
A what?
A prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren.
See, so right here, he said a prophet. Was Messiah a prophet? Because he prophesied in Matthew 24, didn't he? He also prophesied when he walked. He said, look, these things gonna happen. He said, I'm glad I wasn't here with y'all when this was said, so it would happen and then y'all believe. You know, and these things I'm telling you, I told you today, and it's gonna happen a week from now. That makes him a prophet. Let's read some more.
It says, the Lord thy God will raise unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me.
Like what?
Like unto me.
Right.
Unto him ye shall hearken.
So unto him ye shall do what?
Shall hearken.
See, so that's who you gonna listen to. He ain't saying nothing different than John the Baptist said. Some will argue with this. Now see there, he talked to Moses. I ain't never heard the Lord say nothing about John the Baptist, because Christ said there hasn't risen a prophet greater than John the Baptist born of women. What does that got to do with what the Most High said about Moses? Moses is doing this bit of work here. John the Baptist said this is who Moses was talking about. See, it had to be from that same stock that revealed the transition, the change in priesthood. John the Baptist said, here it is. Here he is. This the one I was crying about in the wilderness. Moses and Aaron died in the wilderness because of what? Sin. Transgression. John the Baptist died because of what? Keeping the law and telling King Herod, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. It's a violation of the law, and they cut his head off. Which way better to die? Like Moses and Aaron or John the Baptist? So now you can start to see when the Messiah say there hasn't risen a prophet greater, born of women. What you gonna label against John the Baptist? What was he doing? He shouldn't have been out there in that wilderness with just that jockey strap on. See, that could upset some people. Get them hot and bothered.
What?
But you ain't got nothing. Did you read some more of that, or that's good?
That was it.
Okay.
That you wanted.
Yeah. So y'all just wanted to get that understanding to let you know what we're talking about in the order of Melchizedek that was talked about in Aaron. They was told your time is going to run out and only going to run this far to Messiah. And then we go back under a different priesthood. And we have a high priest that don't have to go into the holies of holies no more. It's been done one time. It ain't going to be done no more. So even if you're practicing from that perspective, you're still practicing old law. It's like saying you a Hebrew, but don't make me go like I used to be back in the street. Oh, you want to go flesh to settle vengeful matters versus using this. Well, this get old when you want to settle with it, or you get a gun and you have to live by that. You're saying I make judgments with it, so that's how I'll be dealt with. When I break the law, then kill me with a gun. Spiritual is a total different situation. You got to learn how to heap coals upon your enemy's head who's in your household. Your enemies are the foes of your household first. Micah 7, Matthew chapter 10, the enemies of the foes of your own household. So we have to understand, y'all, when we're talking about on a spiritual level, you get your practice on your own kind, then you take it out into the world. If you get this across to your own family members, the world means absolutely nothing. Because you don't have to go over them, but every argument you hear, yeah, going over to my people's house. Yeah, man, just can't get them to put that pork down. You never hear them say, I'm going to any Gentile's house or say anything like that. Your war is right here with your family member. Once you get them and get yourself in check to where you could be around each other, outside is easy. But if outside see y'all scrapping, what does that mean to outside? They like, yeah, they crazy, ain't they? Ain't that his brother? But brother is under the same covenant, under the same priesthood, with the keeping of the same laws, y'all. It don't matter because we Israel. We've been Israel. But it's how you keep what governs Israel. It's a living book. This means it's going to teach you when you get 50 years old what 50-year-olds do. It's a living book. You can't talk about 50, it ain't 50. You don't know what 50 bring to the table. You look and you can see. Well, every time he get up, he got to rub his knee.
Is that what that is?
Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. How his eyebrows gray before his hair? Is that okay? That's 52. So you ain't gonna learn those things until you get of age.
52 or 50 also?
Well, look, y'all. Y'all know what it is. And you have to die everywhere if you're going to play the 50 game to look younger than 50. 50 don't care. You have to die everywhere. Can't die here and under here. And then expose 50 later.
50 don't care.
In lower areas, I should say. Let's keep reading, y'all.
Verse 14.
What it say?
For all the laws fulfilled in one word.
Right.
Even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
So it says the law is fulfilled in loving your neighbor as yourself. Well, that's always been the law. It's fulfilled, meaning that you accomplish what I'm trying to get you to do. Love your neighbor as yourself. Now, does that seem like that, man, that's easy, but think about it. Your neighbor is those that keep the same set of laws. It ain't just because it's Israel. It's Israelites out there that keep notes of Satan, of bafflement. That's what got us throughout the land, right? Okay, so we understand that your brethren and your neighbor is everybody's on the same page with the law the same way. That's Israel with the same belief. So that's your neighbor. And what it is the first 5 of the 10 commandments is how to love the Lord. The next 5 is how to love your neighbor as yourself. So y'all, when you run the Exodus 20 and you pick up at 5 and you read on down of what you're supposed to do with your neighbor, y'all, it ain't as easy as it seems. Because you're getting into coveting, you're getting into envy, and you have to think about it up here where it's going to be judged. It's not going to be judged from the flesh. What people see you doing like this with your hand and giving like this, they need to see how you give with this and with this, because this is going to show how you're giving it, what body of notes you're using. If you just do it like this, oh man, I got plenty cash, man, you know. I'll make that, y'all, you know, I'll make my money like this. Here, you just go like that. If it's looked at from that perspective, you're just giving it away because you have it. That's not going to fulfill the law. Because if you give it away like that, a fool in his money soon gonna do what? So he's gonna be looking for that back. Real soon when he run out. Hey man, you remember, man, I know I dropped that on you, but I'm on hard times right now because he gave it away like that with no responsibility, so to speak. He'll be back looking for a handout from you. Yo, we don't want to get caught up in that trap of not understanding how to give. There's a law under Aaron of the priest on how to give tithes. You were commanded to give 10%. You were commanded because Levi couldn't work. That means whatever I did, if I made shoes, 10% of the shoes I made go to the Levites. You make clothes, 10% of the clothes got to be donated to them. Well, under Melchizedek, under that priesthood, you give according to your increase. You're commanded up here how to give. You weigh it out. They will cut my lights off Thursday. But the pastor did say that boy in the red shirt, I know he got $1,000 that Christ want him to give. Is that commanded tithing? Because he surely ain't mentioned nothing about my increase. Because if my lights getting cut off Thursday, ain't no increase, is it? I'm behind the 8 ball. But they commanding me $1,000 because they say they've been talking to God. And they'll do it in Sunday doctrine. They'll do it in Hebrew Christianity. Well, that boy that called himself the Holy Spirit, he was charging 20%. They call them tithes. Not only that, but they will come to your house to get it. Bro, we didn't see you in class, so we thought we'd just stop by and get what you were going to give. Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Some churches even want you to bring your W-2.
Creflo Dollar. Yeah, he wants you to bring your W-2 forms before you can join this church. They don't want no broke members. Bring your W-2s, and look, if you bring them in, they still have a standard. They're like, oh no, you're gonna be giving money that jingles. We have to have money that folds around here. You take that back. There's a church down the street next to the liquor store. They'll accept you. But around here, you need to be in the 50,000 plus range around here. We need 10% of that. Not only once a year, but they want it monthly. See, now you're sliding into commandments of men, y'all, and that's all we're talking about, and that's all Paul is talking about. It's whatever you're doing according to tradition, circumcision, this thing. If you're doing it and you think that just because I got that circumcised, I'm going to be good with God, He going to have to let me in the kingdom. If this heart ain't circumcised, you wasting your time. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
15.
See, read 14 again, y'all. So we'll read this. Now look, if the law is there, why is Paul having to keep repeating the law that we already know on how to love your brother? Because we got a problem with the law. Go ahead, Zed.
Verse 14.
Yes, sir.
For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Right.
But if ye bite and devour one another.
But if you do what?
Bite and devour one another. Take heed that ye be not consumed one of another.
See, so once you're under a law that forces you to bite and devour each other, that comes when you have to present the law about the flesh wherever you're at. It's only flesh talk. If you have to go and you have to have your Bibles and everything, no matter where you go, in your pocket, you cannot discuss these things from just up here. If they're in your pocket, they should be on your heart. See, then if it comes to pulling it out of your pocket, then you can. But you're going to bite and devour because you're locked and loaded to go to war with your own kind. Everywhere you go, nobody knows how to behave themselves. You have to have the rules like this. Look, we got the rules in the car, didn't we? Mama, look in the back seat. We're going in this grocery store. Don't ask for nothing. Don't look at nothing. And don't touch nothing. Y'all hear me? Yep. Then we go in the grocery store. Better not point out no cereals you like. No, we getting these right here. This box right here. It just got one writing on it. Cereal. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 16.
What it say?
This I say then. Walk in the Spirit.
Walk in the what?
Walk in the Spirit. And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
See, y'all, how it keeps separating the two of flesh and spirit. If you walk in the Spirit, you will never satisfy the lust of the flesh. There's no lust of the Spirit. The Spirit does not cause you to lust. The flesh does. But if you walk in the Spirit, your flesh is controlled. It's the same thing when somebody say back in the day, hey, their children are so well behaved. What are they children doing? Didn't but sitting obedient. Don't do this, don't do that. And they're sitting. They don't have to keep popping out rules. Remember, I'm going up to sing in the choir. Remember the rules. Don't y'all act up while I'm going up there to sing, okay? No. They just look at you. And that's it. Let's get some more.
Let me read this right quick.
Go ahead, bro.
Romans chapter 6, verse 11. Likewise, ye also yourselves to be dead indeed unto sin.
Yeah.
But alive unto Yahweh through Yahushua Mashiach our Lord. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body,
right?
That ye should obey it in the lust thereof. Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin.
You see that? Yield your what?
Righteousness unto sin.
Your members.
Your members.
See, so what we're doing again is talking about the outer flesh. The outer cup of the body. Don't let it take control. It take control, you through. You're through peace. Go ahead.
But yield yourself unto Yahweh as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto Yahweh. For sin shall not have dominion over you.
Sin shall not have what?
Dominion over you.
When sin have dominion on you, you admit that my sin and you're justified. See, sin has dominion over you, y'all. And look, I'm not saying don't go if you're in trouble with devices, and I'm not saying don't go to a rehab, but understand when you go there, you have to acknowledge what your flesh is, what's controlling you. And you'll say, hey, I'm an addict. My lips control me. They like to wrap around a crack pipe. Right. So, and then you saying, so what you're saying, so if you see me in this condition, or you catch me in this condition, I done already told you. Well, that has dominion over you then. Because you're accepting it, you hope they accept you that way, but it's not spiritual for you to be on that fast. Because you're going to go on a fast. Or you're going to come crashing down off of meth or whatever else device is controlling. So that's how the flesh starts to control everything. Let's get some more. Where we at?
Verse 17.
That's good.
For the flesh, were you done with that, brother?
You go ahead.
No, finish it up, Zeb, if you got some more.
Yeah, you got some more? Come on.
I got to find it now. I was in Romans 6. Romans 6, 14 and 15, last two. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace?
See, and we're on the same wavelength.
Yahweh forbid.
Yahweh do what?
Forbid.
What's the next verse?
Oh, know ye not that whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey.
So if you obey your flesh, then you become a slave to your flesh. It's like women want butt injections. See, so look, this comes from the Brazilian butt contest. Do y'all know they have a butt contest? But Brazilian butt contest. So when you get to the point that you feel this will make me liked by everybody, well, for one, you have to think if you're a married woman, this gonna cause some problems for your husband. Because everybody you come around, every man gonna do this. If your husband with him, he gonna be, what you looking down there for? Her eyes are up here. Well, all that wagon she dragging is down there. Now, so what happens is you start injecting with silicone. And you start to inject poison into you. And y'all can look out there, you'll see a lady had to get both her arms, legs cut off. And they had to cut those buttocks off too. So she lost the little rear end she had, plus she lost her arms and her legs too, trying to make the flesh make me acceptable versus the inside. Yeah. So y'all, that's what we're talking about. Or men, they got a lot of devices out there for us too. But it's all about the flesh. Yeah. It's all about the flesh, y'all. So y'all, we know that all of these devices out there are only to accomplish one thing. The lust of the flesh. That's its only job. And it wants you to concentrate that if I look like this, then I will be accepted on the outer cup. Let's read some more.
Let me read this all the way down to
Okay, go ahead, bro.
19 and 20. I'm on 16. Romans 6, 16.
Yes, sir.
Know ye not to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey? His servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness. But Yahweh be thanked that ye were servants of sin, but ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you, being then made free from sin, ye became servants of righteousness. I speak after this manner of men because of the infirmity of your flesh. For as ye have yielded your members servants to uncleanness and to unto iniquity, even so now yield your members servants to righteousness unto holiness.
See, so you see the flip side of it, though you used to yield your members to this. Y'all, because it's all about the lust of the flesh versus the law. It's the only talk on TV. Every show out there is about the lust of the flesh. That's what it boils down to. It governs everything. It's how much money you can throw away at the strip club. That's just looking at flesh. Y'all know how much money that would have done to the fatherless? I mean, how it would have helped the fatherless and the widow? But you making it rain.
But look at the boy who just killed himself. He had all the money to do.
He had an island.
How he wanted to do it, where he wanted to do it. But when he got caught and it was all over, he couldn't go through life no more.
Right, absolutely.
Life no more.
But what it was, he had yielded to his flesh.
Right.
He couldn't break loose from being a pedophile.
Right. He had the
His
money.
flesh dominated, so now with money, he decided to build a paradise where I can get this off and hope nobody see it. It's called Pedophile Island. And he has a notebook that all his guests signed. So it could have been the right guest on that list that said, I'll fatten up anybody's commissary if they can get in there. Because this ain't the first time he attempted. The first time, they say his room, his cell he found, half unconscious. But guess who his cellie was? A New York police that had killed 4 people. This your cellie? Did he massage your throat first? About not revealing who's on the list. Now you can do it yourself and you'll make it easy. Or we can do it for you. But you cannot tell whose name's on that list. I won't tell, I promise. I promise. They like, no. Promising are not the options. The options are your cellie can do it or you can do it. It's the same options they gave Martin Luther King.
Same ones Robert Kelly gonna get.
Right. We can do it for you or you can do it yourself. But you have to leave this planet. And he said, well, I can't do it myself because that's going to be more problems for me. Okay, I'll tell y'all tomorrow. I done seen the promised land, but I ain't going to get there with you. Because he knew what the deal was. They are going to do it. But let them do it. If they're going to do it. Let them do it like John the Baptist. Let them do it. Don't do it and get caught up in flesh from Israelites that's not your brethren in the spirit and make you strike the rock. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Go back to that Galatians now.
We were?
The book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 16.
What it say?
This I say then, walk in the spirit,
Right.
and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit.
How the flesh lusted against what?
The spirit.
Look, the flesh tell you, boy, you know you like what you see over there. Quit acting like you so holy. Remember how you used to be? Oh, so you want me to put new wine in old bottles again? Because it's some flesh there. You want me to turn back into Mac Dad? Because there's some flesh there. The Spirit say, flesh could be all around you like it was at Lot. And he never gave in to it. That's where your mindset have to be. And then talking about rehab again, you're going to have to come home after a certain amount of weeks. And guess where you're coming home to? The same drug dealers. They have to know that the flesh don't rule anymore. They have to know that your spirit is ruling, and then you're not a customer any longer. And they'll tell all others, oh man, he ain't a customer no more. Man, I bet I can get him with that double up promotion. No, I tried a triple up. He didn't even go for that. He threw, man. He's not a customer anymore. So you can't be a customer to your flesh and let it dominate. Because all you're going to find yourself saying is, I should have followed my first what? It didn't say I should have followed my first flesh, did it? Okay, let's read some more.
Verse 17 again.
What it say?
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit.
Right?
and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other.
All in one.
So that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law.
So we got a problem here with what Paul is saying right here. Are we misunderstanding this? If you be led, you gone, bro? He ain't gonna handle it no longer, bro. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I figured that. Yeah. Yeah, it needs some po-po time. Yes, sir. What you got, bro? Shalom, bro. Be careful out there. Okay. So, y'all, if you understand it from the perspective of it's warring against each other, this is your battle within yourself. You got to conquer that first before you tell somebody else about the law. Because if you can't control yours, you think they're going to be listening to you? And what I'm talking about is control yours. And that means that if I did have a problem with it, it's fixed. So I'm telling you what the fix is. I'm not telling you to pour a new wine back in the old bottle. Boy, I remember back in the day, boy, a club like this, boy, you come home with 15 numbers. Remember that, dog? Why do you want me to remember that?
Because I was a whoremonger.
Oh, okay. Chasing strays. Yes, sir. But you can't start grooving to that beat either and singing along, because guess what? You're going to have more numbers.
Yeah. Wrong.
But it's a difference now out here, y'all. Because it could be in the number of a woman that may be a man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Let's read some more. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Verse 19.
What it say?
Now the works of the flesh are manifest.
See, and y'all, when we talk about works, y'all, we're talking about a body of notes. See, faith without works is dead. If you got faith in Hamashiach and you don't have works of the law of how you're proving your faith in him, I'm walking by faith. That still means you're walking according to the law. That's the faith that you have, that he says, if I keep the commandments, then I shall prosper. You walk that way. So you have to understand the difference. That's the works that you have with faith. But faith without works is dead, just like works without faith is dead. You can try to keep the law all you want, but if you say the Messiah don't exist, you wasting your time. Because your faith in what you're believing in the Old Testament still prophesy about one to come. He's eventually got to come. If you say this ain't the one, then you're going to have to point out one. And according to the law, he cannot be a partaker of his flesh. You gonna introduce me to somebody that's a partaker in his flesh? This guy used to be a bus driver. Y'all know how much bus drivers flirt? Well, some of y'all women that rode the bus know how bus drivers flirt. I mean, and then you got this other one, was a private in the Air Force. Then he was a Pentecostal preacher. Then he was a Muslim. And now he's the son of the Father. Thou shalt join up with Babylon's Air Force. Thou shalt then brush it off. Thou shalt join with the sons of Ishmael. They shall put thee out for looking in the stall next to you in the urinal. Then thou shalt become Moses' X, and when thou believest that, then thou shalt call thyself Yahshua. What that said in the scripture? With this flesh behavior. It says he gonna know how to choose the good when he's a baby. What you doing in Pentecostal religion? That would X the Messiah out from even being one of the 144,000. No guile or deceit or their virgins. They've never been tampered with a man-made doctrine. It's spiritual first before it's physical. They've never been tampered with a spiritual doctrine other than what the Father gave. That makes them worthy of the 144,000 first. That's why they're called male virgins. They ain't been prostituted. spiritually.
Right.
Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 19.
What it say?
Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these.
Now these are the works of the flesh. If you have to battle consistently with this, the flesh is the driver. Let's read some more.
Adultery, fornication,
Right?
uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yah.
So it said if you do them, if you practice them as law, you can't enter into the kingdom. It's impossible to. And others said what he said. He said, those who flesh rule them like this, that you'll find scriptures to make it work. Envyings and strifes and all of these, that's the work of the law of the flesh. That's the law he said you're not under. You don't have to obey your flesh. You ain't under that law. That's what he's saying. We're not under that law. You're not under. You don't have to, your flesh can't tell you what to do. How you gonna tell anybody, man, I just couldn't, man, she wicked, man. She wicked, man. She did. I say, did she pull your drawers down? Did she do it? Was she the one that did? Well, we can't use wicked here. If she say he came on to me with such force, did he rape you? Well, no, well, you can't call him wicked either. There's some more information we need to get to. Because both of you, we're in consensual now. You just said she didn't make you, but you said she did it how flesh do it. They force you to do it. And you just said it wasn't a forceful flesh move. It was a cunning, manipulative move that made them disappear. So we right back to what you're arguing about. What the flesh has caused the problem. See, it's not the spirit. It's every argument. That's why we can't do marriage counseling, so to speak. We just tell you these are the rules for the woman. These are the rules for the man. If both parties having a problem with each other's rules, then there's the option for you to make the decision. And you make the decision based on the rules. But we can't get in there and intervene because we don't know. What we do know is when you get angry with one another, you'll tell Facebook about the law of flesh you've been keeping. He didn't tell you when he liked to put on that cape and come out the closet, did he? I bet he ain't told that. Wait a minute. Put on a cape and come out the closet with what else on?
Which closet he coming out of?
Right. And then he didn't tell you he gonna say something about her flesh. But none of it's up here spiritually. None of it up here. Did she tell you? See, that's what I'm just talking about, man. Yeah, she helped me get through college, man. Yeah, and they was there, and then we had a good dinner. Yeah, man, she keep the dishes washed, keep the kitchen cleaned up, man. Yeah, man. Are they arguing about that? Yeah, and he do what he's supposed to do. Yeah, the car ain't never been down and all changed regularly and protective of the house when somebody knocked on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was him that got up. All those things being said during the argument. What's being said? That dark flesh stuff. He liked to put his finger. See, it's that type of stuff. So you look at him, at an individual, and then your judgment about that is based off the flesh. You cannot get into a conversation with man and wife and about the flesh. That's the only thing they revealing, because if we reveal those things, then maybe I can gain you to my side. Well, at least tell me what's good about this individual that kept you there for 26 years. Something had to be better. Was it all this? Or, well, no, see, we ain't here to talk. Okay. You don't want to talk about that. See, that makes you look at it from a different perspective, y'all. And because you'll never get that true understanding from an individual, you can only keep it according to the law. When you're discussing with any individuals, even about this word. Shalom, man. Go ahead, bro. Let's finish this up. I want to get caught up.
Verse 22.
What it say?
But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness,
right?
Goodness, faith.
What is that word again?
Faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
I'm asking you, and what it's saying is there's no law. How do you go tell somebody, that's a sin? Long suffering. It's a sin if it's past the second and third admonition. If you trying to long suffer with somebody, you've been breaking this word off to them, you done showed it to them and they just won't have it, then that's not really long suffering anymore. That means you're accepting bad behavior. You can't keep pounding it into them after the first and second admonition. You have to know when to cut it off, because it's going to make your flesh angry at them. And you're going to call them names like stupid. You can't understand them. Why is it? Are you ignorant? Both parties is ignorant at that time. And it don't mean you're less than anybody else. It just means without knowledge of a subject. That's what ignorant, when you look it up, without knowledge of a subject. Y'all, when you're without knowledge of the priesthood of Melchizedek, you're going to talk flesh. Your behavior is going to be flesh. Marriage covenant will be of the flesh, not of the spirit. And this what this whole thing, y'all, it's a marriage covenant with the Messiah. If we don't get on the same page with that, we're going to lose it. Let's get some more.
Verse 24.
What it say?
And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust.
See, so you do it all. You don't just get rid of part of it. You got to throw all your porn away. Yeah, it's in the trash can right there. Where that flash drive at? What? What flash drive? That other? In your sock drawer. You got to throw away with the affection and the lust too. You can't recall back to there because it's going to take you back. Once those feelings dominate again, it's going to take you back with all of its side effects that come with it. Side effects come with it, don't they? Let's get some up.
If we live in the Spirit,
right,
let us also walk in the Spirit.
Let us do what?
Let us walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another.
See, so that's the whole key. If you walk in the Spirit, that won't be part of it. Because you're not trading blows. You're long suffering when it needs to be. You're talking about peace, y'all. Everywhere you go, y'all, we shouldn't have to remember, and if any of them niggas get out of line, y'all know what to do. Y'all know what we got in the trunk. If you're going somewhere with that on your mind already, don't go. Because the dark forces are going to give you what you're asking for, what you're getting ready for. Let's get these words from me, Zeb, if you will. I want to get these 3 words, y'all. What you got right there, sis? Liberty. I want to get the definition of liberty, grace, and faith, because those are the words we dealing with, and do those 3 things void out the law. Well, we just saw Zeb read Romans 6 chapter concerning grace. Since grace has come, do we void the law? God forbid. Nope, grace ain't got nothing to do with the law. Grace is governed by the law. The Most High don't give grace but by the law. He has to show you mercy by the law. Because the law limits how much mercy you can have for wrongdoing. He could show Lucifer no grace. Why is that? What did he do greater than anybody that he's condemned and there's no pardon for his behavior? What did he do? so that he could find no grace. So there has to be a law there that prevented the Father from giving Lucifer grace, and those angels with him, and the watchers that fell, and those that hurt a child, and those that do these type of things that he say, it's been better that you tie a millstone around your neck than to do these things. And then he used language, there's a greater damnation. Wait a minute. It's tormentation levels in the lake of fire? You mean this is hot? And then this is saucy hot? Something is making this side of the lake of fire elevate over here. And he says some are worthy of that tormentation for eternity. What you had, sis?
I was going to ask if we could go into that Galatians 6 and start at like verse 7.
We can do that, sis. And y'all understand what Paul is saying. He's only speaking from circumcision of the mind of the flesh, that if you bragging about it. I mean, but look, you can't brag about it from that perspective because, I mean, who you gonna brag about it to? You can only brag to your wife because that's why it's in that position. I mean, what men gonna be standing around bragging? No, dog, it's a cut, right? And what private room? Two men gonna be doing that. And I don't like the way the doctor sewed you, right? See, look at mine.
There wouldn't have been no look
So,
at mine.
right, so-
He'd have got hit when he said the first part.
So, y'all, what are you gonna brag about the outer cup for on that level is what I'm trying to say. That who you gonna brag to? It's like a man learning how to twerk. Who he gonna show it to?
What?
Don't even do that.
Ain't no. It don't even seem right. That would be even natural. That's got to hurt.
See, and that's what I'm talking about. You're practicing something of no avail. Who you gonna show? See, when R. Kelly made them films, who was he gonna show them films to?
He was saving them for the day
Then
he get locked
why
up.
make them? Who you gonna show them to?
Study him so he can get better.
Either he study him so he can get better, or the lust of his flesh truly has control of this right here. Because you're going to put on wax what can condemn you to hell. Who? R. Kelly? Ain't gave him nothing yet. No, he's saying he making, if they found him guilty on all them charges, maybe that much time. But right now he's still going through it. So he ain't got no more money. That's the way the devil plays too. Take all of your money and then put you on trial. See, if he had to stop and turn from his wicked behavior, he could now be doing good works. But he went deeper into the works of the flesh and started recording more. And not only that, he built a recruitment team. Go to the high schools for me. Go to this for me. Go bring that and stop by Walmart and get me some more film. That's what I need.
I bet you wish he could fly now.
Boy, you're right. He wish he could fly.
I wish I could fly away from
Right, go ahead, bro. Where we at?
Want some definitions?
Galatians. Yeah, let me get to the definition, sis, and then we'll get that, y'all. What I want to do, y'all, so y'all don't misunderstand what liberty is. Liberty don't mean the Most High is granting you favor to sin. He's granting you liberty to know how to move through the law. Y'all, we're going to get into this in Matthew 12 that explains how you move through the law, the liberty the law provides you under the order of Melchizedek. There's a certain liberty, but you can't use that liberty to break the law. Because some will take that and, like I say, continue to sin because they think what they just read, if you're not after the flesh, you are not under the law. See, so what they're thinking is, I don't have to obey the law. Well, what else are you going to obey if the law ain't there? How you going to even point to somebody as a churchgoer and say you're doing wrong without pointing to what? How can you even tell anybody, y'all some sinners drinking that devil's water, according to what? God say you ain't supposed to be drinking. In whose writing? Where is it wrote down? If you love God, you wouldn't want to drink anyway. Well, I ain't never read that out of God's mouth that said that. What I did read, though, is he say, if you say you saved, and you still have to spray air freshener when you come out the bathroom, that's what I'm concerned with. Because that's flesh corrupting. If you saved, it ain't got no stank. Let's read some more.
You want liberty first, right?
Yes, sir.
Liberty is 1865.
Yes, sir.
Dower, from an unused root, meaning to move rapidly. Freedom.
What is it called?
Freedom. Hence, spontaneity of overflow, and so clear, liberty pure.
Look. There's scriptures in the Bible, Galatians, that mention it, Leviticus 25 that talks about liberty. It means free from all debt and bondage. Can you have that liberty up here? We ain't gonna have it fleshly. This what the nations got locked down. They got flesh locked down, y'all. They don't have the spirit locked down. If they could get the spirit locked down, they would be in great shape. Come on up, Ed. You know, they would be in great shape. So that's why they have to institutionalize the mind to make you return to the penitentiary and get yourself bound again. They mess with this and you go back because you believe it's easier to go back to somebody feeding you, giving you a pair of drawers that's used that already been worn by somebody else. And you get comfortable with it. And you know it's some stains that ain't no bleach on the planet can remove.
I ain't putting them on.
So you want to return to that, even like man, if you want to return to compound living. There's a big house and then there's little cabins. You want to return to that? You want to return to no running water? You want to go back into bondage just to be around each other? Well, how long that gonna last? It didn't last in the desert of Sinai for less than a week before they was hollering, I'm sick of these chafing underwear. How long you think it's gonna last there? You can just turn on a faucet and water show. You're wiser, but you're weaker. You can be able to carry water 3 times a day and go get water for baths. Something is going to get missed, ain't it? Arms going to be yanking. Let's read some more, bro.
Oh, you want grace?
Yeah, I want grace.
Grace is H2580. Cain. Con. Graciousness, i.e. subject, kindness.
What?
Kindness. Favor.
What?
Favor.
Favor. Look, when he showed grace, it's called unmitigated favor. What I'm doing for this, you do not deserve it. You ain't worthy of it. For me to give it to you, I'm extending myself to give it to you, but you try. So there's not about works lest any man should boast that you can get it in. It's with the faith that whatever I do wrong, I'm hoping that with his grace shed upon me, it'll help me get across. But I can't look at him and say, well, I kept all the laws on, Messiah, what I care about that? He got to let me in. What he gonna show me that I ain't gonna do? Just like the rich man. I've kept all these laws since my youth. He said, go sell all that you have and follow me. And it say he went away sorrowful. So what did he have faith in? It was his money. It was his God, because he said, I can't part with that, partner. I'm not going to part with that. But look, it wasn't like it was me that said, follow me. It was the Messiah that said, if you follow me now, your name goes in the book of life right now. But this much time got to pass. You're going to die anyway. Get you some ink in the book right now. And he said, no, I like that ink in my pocket. Give all this up and follow you. He said, you see the gift the disciples had. You're witnessing what they got, and it didn't cost them no money. You seen what they did. Why you're asking me, you know money can't get it done, and you're asking me for it, but then yet you still hanging on to it. He's not telling you to get rid of your money. He's telling you when the hour of visitation comes with Messiah, you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice like Paul did on the road to Damascus. You're going to have to make a choice in your life when the visitation comes. Let's read some more. You got what you got, bro?
Favor, grace, pleasant, precious, well favored. And then for faith, it's Hebrews 5:48.
What it say?
Amana, yeah. Something fixed, i.e. a covenant.
A what?
A covenant.
See, Messiah is the covenant. He's always been the covenant. He was a covenant in Genesis 3:16. They told Adam, until Messiah comes, you're under covenant with this flesh. Until he comes, he's going to straighten the problem with the flesh out. It's covenant. Faith. What else to say about faith?
An allowance, certain portion, sure. And that's it.
So y'all, we see what faith is, and faith is always tied to the Messiah. Just grab that Hebrews 11:1. We're going to get right back into it, sis. We're going to get right to your Galatians 6, y'all. We're going to speed it up just a bit, but I just want 11:1 in Hebrews so we can understand faith. We just read the definition of liberty in Galatians 5:1. And then we read the definition of grace. We gave the Hebrew word and also the definition of it in Romans 6 chapter, y'all. So what we're establishing is how law rules over everything. So there's no way Sunday doctrine can say, well, Paul said we don't have to keep the law and you got grace. No, everybody that the Messiah showed grace to attempted to keep the law. It said Noah was perfect, right? In what? Law breaking or keeping the law? That he found grace. So let me get that before we go there. Give me Genesis 6 and 8 first. And then we'll get the Hebrews 11:1 for faith. And we already did the Romans 6. And y'all can understand that everywhere Paul is doing this, he always refers back to it, say, should we void the law? That's the question. And the next words are, God forbid. For without the law, you won't know what the law of the flesh is. It's telling you. Murder, envy, debate, adultery, fornication. That's a body of works that the flesh loves to obey. And we'll talk about it. It makes you feel like you're a big timer. That whole work of the flesh is to make it appealing to the eyes that you break the law. If you can't watch women walk by in just their underclothes and not lose your mind, your flesh is dominating.
Yeah.
Because no court in here don't care about what you saw. It's called self-control. Where we at?
Genesis chapter 6, verse 8.
What it say?
But Noah found grace
Uh-huh.
in the sight of the Lord.
Is that all of it? Read the next line.
These are the generations of Noah.
So it tells you, it goes right into his generation. But it say Noah found grace. Noah was a righteous man. So how long grace been around? Grace been around since before the flood did. This was before the flood, wasn't it? So Noah found grace before the flood. But we get into the rest of it as you see that Noah was found a righteous man. He kept the law. He obeyed God, and he got on the ark what he told him. He obeyed him to the letter to save his life eternally, not his flesh. Because if he hadn't obeyed like that, his flesh would have died with the rest of everybody else. But the Spirit overpowered him to do righteousness, and he adhered to it. Now, when he got off the ark, guess who was rating right there? Satan again. And it said he was a husbandman, but that quick, he broke the street rule. Don't get high on your own supply. Noah was a husbandman. He processed wine, and he sipped a little bit too much. See, because the effects of it wasn't moderation. The effects was, if it KOs you, you good. It's just like today with that Genesis 1:29. If it KOs you and make foam come out of your mouth and you say, pass it to me, that's a problem. You don't like all that, I'm going to get you sucker. No, don't drink your juice in the hood. That's what I'm talking about. Don't drink your juice in the hood. When he start foaming and kick back, he like, man, pass that. That's got death written all over it. That's what I need to be inhaling. Where we at?
Verse 9.
What it say?
These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man.
What was Noah?
A just man and perfect in his generation.
Is that all of that?
And so, Noah walked with God.
And what did Noah do?
Walked with God. That's it.
See, so we see why Noah found grace. He was a just man. It don't mean you don't keep the law. It's what allowed the Most High to give him grace because he was a just man and walked with the Lord. This is before the flood. So are the laws different or are they the same for us today? He was just under that same priesthood. He was a Melchizedek priest. He passed it to his son Shem. He told Ham and Japheth about it, but he said it has to go through a line. And Shem is falling on you. You get the scepter of Melchizedek. And Shem had it when he met Abraham coming off of the slaughter. Jasher 16 tell you that was Shem. That Melchizedek was Shem. See, we had Melchizedek priest until Messiah come. Then no other man could be high priest. We are all little Melchizedek priests now. And that means we have to be shoulder to shoulder. There can't be no big eyes and little U's. Or we're going to lose it. Let's read some more. Where we at? We finished that?
Yeah.
I want to get caught up. You give all them descriptions, right?
Yep.
Y'all look up them words and see how it applies to the subject matter today. John 8th chapter.
I thought you wanted Hebrews 11.
I was just checking to see if y'all was still paying attention. Y'all are. Go ahead.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 1.
So we gave the definition, and now we're giving the subject matter that pertains to spiritual liberty, because it included all of these: liberty, grace, and faith. All of them intertwines together for you to have liberty. And that means while I'm in this captivity, I may have to spend some money on the Sabbath, but I can't make that a weekly occurrence. I may have to have a tow truck. My mama on her way home, it's 8:30 at night and they got a flat tire on the highway. What I'm gonna tell her? Now see that? If you was keeping the law, mama, you wouldn't have even been driving.
But now you not keeping the law.
Right, now you in violation of the fifth command. Y'all know what I'm saying. So now you in violation there. Does one cause you to fall into the other? Or is it some liberty there that you explain the situation to your mom? Look, mama, I can't do it, but I'm gonna call the tow truck for you. They'll be there to get you. I'm gonna stay on the phone with you. It at least got to be that, but you can't chastise her for not keeping it and then you violate the law. What if she say, baby, you ain't gonna honor me, you know I'm in Kenlock at night? Now see that's what hard head gets you. Kenlock at night. But I'm not coming out, mama. No. We can't void out one law trying to keep the other part of it. It's still gonna make you a transgressor of the law. Let's read some more. What it say? Oh, we never did read her 6 too. Nope. We gotta get back to that. Okay, go ahead. What was you talking about?
Oh, I was gonna say Hebrews 10, 38 and 39.
Yeah, we're gonna get right there. I'll put them down. Hebrews 10, 38. Yeah. Okay.
Galatians 6.
Okay, go ahead. Where we at on this? We got to get back to that 6 as well, Galatians. Where we at on that Hebrews 11 and 1?
At 1.
Go ahead. All right. Yes, sir. Yeah, that boy on point. See, y'all know what he do? He keep his finger on the mark. See, y'all understand that? See, and that's another thing of table, y'all. You got to keep your finger on the mark. See, even if you comment, your finger have to be on the mark. Because if you comment and forget where you at, then you got to get caught back up. Where was I? Keep your finger on the mark if you're doing that. Then we say, come on with it, like he just said. Where we at on that verse? 1. Finger still there. Read some more, Jay.
Your finger got to be on 1?
Or wherever that. On the 1 that you stopped at least.
Well, if you ain't started, you should know where you at.
You started 38 of 10. You want to do that before that one?
No, I want just Hebrews 11 and 1. Right. I want to just deal with faith. Hebrews 10:38. I know that deal with it, but I'm just trying to, because it's a thing hoped for, and I'm just talking about subject matter and a thing we hoping that Christ do what He say He gonna do. You know, and that's what we're talking about. We'll come back on that. We'll get that on the side end. But what I'm talking about is what we're hoping for. We're hoping that a second coming happens. If it don't happen, y'all, we're wasting our time, right?
Right.
So, and I'm just saying from faith perspective, we're going to get that 10:30. Go ahead, though. 11 and 1.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it, the elders obtained a good report.
Now, what did the elders retain a good report about faith? So has faith always been around? So when you talk about elders, it's talk about Old Testament or New Testament. I mean, it was the elders in the New Testament, but when you see it, you know it's talking about the original patriarchs. By faith, they have a good report. We just had a good report of Noah. That was faith, y'all. He had to think about that. He's getting mocked. Man, do y'all see, man? I told y'all he was crazy. The nearest body of water is 15 miles away. He building a boat 3 football fields long, 3 stories high. Where he gonna sail it to? Ha, 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 ha. But look, they were laughing after he warned them. They weren't laughing before he warned them. Rain is coming. Not only did it rain from above, but it said the depths open up from the earth beneath. Like you see water spout up from beneath, all of the fountains of the deep opened up as well. So you got as much water coming down as coming up from the bottom too. So y'all know, just think about what happened when water come in your basement. That's water that's underneath, that's in the pipes that's shooting back up through your basement. It ain't the water that's coming from the top. So all of this is happening at the same time for 40 days and nights straight from the top and the bottom. And y'all look at 20 minutes of a downpour and you cussing out MSD. And that's just 20 minutes. I need to send somebody over with some pump. My basement flooded, my shoe, everything is destroyed. Well, you better be lucky it's just contained to the basement. Let's read some more.
Verse 3. Through faith, we understand that the world was framed by the word of Yah.
What was it framed by?
The word of Yah.
Y'all see how for faith go back. See, if you get Sunday worshipers, so to speak, of that doctrine, I should say that doctrine, Sunday doctrine, that preaches that faith just showed up. They're not understanding faith was just what we just read before the foundations of the world. There was faith there. He's the same yesterday as today. It helped frame the world. So, but when you make it like it just showed up because you a member of New Mount Tabor on the road to Jericho by the side of Damascus, that's just your thought process that you don't know how long faith has been around. Let's read some more.
So that things which are seen
right
were not made of things which do appear. By faith, Abel offered unto Yah a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous.
That he was what?
That he was righteous.
So when we say righteous, when the scripture uses righteous, what makes a man righteous? The keeping of what? The law. So by faith, he became right because he believed. Y'all, it's always been belief. You cannot be a faith worshiper or keep faith if you don't believe it first. You have to believe. Belief always been. Do you believe that what I'm telling you, even though you don't see it, is going to manifest one day? That's what he asked. You see it every day, but do you believe it on another level outside of the flesh? That's where we at. Let's read some more.
Yah testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaking. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death.
That he should not what?
He should not see death.
So now we got another problem in faith believers in Messiah that say Enoch died. He died like every other man. And they'll skip right over there. Oh, y'all hollered at the same time when that boy hollered, Enoch died. No, wait a minute, verse 5, how you gonna fly by that? You know, boy, you was just battling with. He flew right past this. Because, see, he cannot make it supernatural because the doctrine they teach about Messiah is sad, you see, doctrine. They do not bring it up to a supernatural level. So now he needs to understand, how did Enoch not die? In Hebrews 9:27 say it's appointed to every man to die once and then the judgment. But that ain't our homework. That's his homework. Or he gonna have to say this verse right here been tampered with. Read some more, area.
By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Yah had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony, that he pleased Yah.
That he did what?
He pleased Yah.
Yeah, and translation ain't used for nobody else. There's the Mount of Transfiguration, but it's talking about another supernatural event of those that coming back, but it ain't dealing with reincarnation at all. Those were the actual individuals. The problem is, if anybody of the reincarnation doctrine, because it say that was Moses and Elijah, the reincarnationists say that John the Baptist was Elijah. Now, when the disciples saw Moses and Elijah on the Mount of Transfiguration, then none of them say, that's John the Baptist. Did they? And if they did say, well, they knew it was John the Baptist, then who was Moses then standing up there? Who y'all got him as being reincarnated of? Where in the scripture does it say that he gonna be there with John the Baptist? But Messiah was there and showed you translated death for them, and both of them died physically. But the word translate is never mentioned about no other patriarch like it is about Enoch, the way he was taken. I also got some Sirach 49 and 14 that goes into detail about his translation. Also some Sirach 44, 16 through 23 gets down with Enoch translation. 1 Corinthians 15, 51. Notice one thing, we shall all not taste death, but in a what? Twinkling of an eye, we shall all be what? See, that old flesh is still dying. Because you just put on new flesh. That flesh is dead. You're still dying. But Enoch got to come back to this earth and die. We got two witnesses still got to show up to face the Antichrist. Like two witnesses face Pharaoh. You're not going to face the Antichrist with 20 Negroes standing on a street corner hollering. It's going to be two. Like it always been. Has it ever been more than two? Or three at the most? Shadrach, Meshach, what is it? Yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. Three. Daniel in the lion's den. Joseph is always, y'all, it's going to be that and the Messiah will show up there with you. Because the king said, we threw three in the furnace, but where that fourth one come from? How you going to read that in the Old Testament and still be a Sadducee? And I mean, you read it to us of the New Testament like you think we don't see what's happening here. There's three thrown in the fire, but I see a fourth one in there with the image of the Son of Man. Who is the fourth one? And how did he get in there? Into the fire. And they talking like they playing dominoes. Let's read some more.
Verse 6.
What it say?
But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
Without what?
Faith. It is impossible to please him.
So we say that Enoch pleased God. So there has to been a level of faith that pleased God that he had to have. Y'all get into some Jasher 3rd and 4th chapters going to detail Enoch's ascension and what faith he had. So you understand that everybody's playing by the rule book. Or you can get what's called blind faith. I believe the Lord with me. I believe I can go into a Ku Klux Klan meeting after they finish their warm Budweiser and Jack Daniels. I believe faith will be with me. That's blind faith. You are going to be the next fire they get a hold of, besides that fire water. I believe I can walk across Highway 70 in rush hour. He said that he lift me up. That's blind faith. Don't you walk out in rush hour traffic and everybody like this drive. You got to account for that. Let's get some more.
But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yah must believe that he is.
What must they believe?
They believe that he is.
And
that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Right.
By faith, Noah, being warned of Yah of things not seen as yet.
Not what? Seen
as yet.
This is what we talking about, y'all. Faith. He said, I'm going to make it rain on earth and I'm going to kill everybody on earth. Except you and your family. You think I'm playing? No. Where do I get the wood from? I don't believe one bit that you're playing around. And he went to building, but the mockers was there. Y'all have to picture this. Building a boat and the next body of water would take you 2 months to get to it. That nigga's crazy. And when he started drawing the doors up and sealing them and they could hear him, he gonna die and they gonna suffocate him. Now y'all know how hot it is, and then look up. Wait a minute. These rain drops kind of large. My whole shoulder's soaking. What? Look up, look up, look up. If y'all were able to see the doors on the ark, I'm telling you, it's fingernail prints and the door of that ark probably still got DNA they can trace back. Trying to get in. You're in treetops and it's rising up fast. And it's coming down above too. Let's read some more. Finish this up.
By faith, Noah, being warned of Yah of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house.
Prepared an ark to what?
To the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed.
What did he do?
He obeyed and went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which had foundation, whose builder and maker is Yah. Through faith also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the sea, which is by the seashore, innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country.
A what?
A better country. That is, an heavenly. Wherefore Yah is not ashamed to be called their Elohim.
Right.
For he hath prepared for them a city.
What he prepared for them?
A city.
And I saw a city, knew what? See, so if we try to have faith to build our own city with a Home Depot fence around it, and we paint the streets gold, and we get all Israelites in there that know they Israel, but don't care what doctrine they believe in, that ain't the city that has been talked about. That city gonna collapse like the rest of them.
Yes, sir.
Because it's not a city built on faith. You can't build the city that the Most High is talking about, and you're in physical captivity as well as spiritual captivity. It ain't gonna happen till the minds has been cleansed of that behavior, because that behavior got lust written all over it. Because it's a camp that teach make as many babies as you can. Babies got to eat, don't they? Babies got to wear drawers, don't they? Babies got to have milk, don't they? You can't keep producing like that and call it a kingdom, and everything in it is suffering. That's not the new city. Was mentioned the faith that we got to have, that one day, y'all, we gonna see it where it ain't gonna be like this. Y'all, can y'all imagine what it's like to be in charge of planet Earth? And I'm talking about what's been showed grace and favor because of belief that you get to not work again. And all these things are happening for you, but you didn't put in your retirement package of faith. But you got to do it. It ain't gonna come by happenstance. It ain't gonna come by hollering and screaming. It's gonna come by what you put in here. This what serves it up, because it'll show the Most High what your flesh is doing. Because Satan cannot touch the soul. Satan comes after the flesh. He liked to hear what you whisper when you get 2 drinks in you. There you go. There it is right there. That's why I need him to start talking. What comes out of a man defile. Let's see how this righteous man go now. Hey, Tender. Hey, Tender. You want a Pepsi?
Pepsi. And they stopped using Tinder a long time ago.
They don't use skis, whatever.
Skis.
Whatever it is, it's lust of the flesh calling a woman to do what?
Oh, yeah.
And how quick is it going to last? Let's read some more.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 17. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac. And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that Yah was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith, Jacob, when he was a dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshiped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones.
So by faith, what are we saying faith? Where are all these coming from? Out of which book, old or new? I'm talking about the people we're talking about. So how long faith been around? See, so y'all, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. It ain't nothing new. Paul wasn't bringing in no new doctrine saying faith. Now I'll tell you, all of these people believe these things according to faith. Abraham never saw the promised land that as it was inherited when David moved in there and set up shop. He wasn't around then. That's 14 generations away. But he had faith and believed that my offspring gonna enjoy that. Can you imagine waking up now and then you saying, this your great grandson, 16 generations if you wake up in the kingdom. This him right there. And you be like, wow. That boy kind of look like me too. But that's the faith that they had. But also in that vision, it say a terror came upon Abraham. He also saw the flip side of us clowning. I'm talking about showing out. Like everybody worked for the Soul Circus. I'm talking about clowning. I'm talking about to the point that where terror came over him about our behavior down the line. Let's read some more.
Verse 23.
Is that about it? How many more you got on that? Hold it right there. You can go and hold it. We got the understanding of it.
Yeah, plenty more.
Do we got that? I just want to hit that Galatians 6, the last 2 verses said. Hebrews 10:38. Then I got to get into this John so we can understand the liberty that Messiah was talking about. Y'all, liberty don't give you the right to break the law. Liberty gives you the right to be a judge of the law upon your own self so that nobody can't do it on you. Do you have liberty to do? Is it lawful for a man to do good on the Sabbath? Yes. How is that possible without liberty? When the words say, if you move, you need to be dead. Well, we got a problem with that. The priests starting off, they profane the Sabbath every week and are found blameless. How does that happen? See, so we still talking same law. Grace is still there for the priest, but you're not looking at it like that. Work is work, ain't it? If you go in the temple, prepare lambs and be slaughtered for sacrifice, is that work? That's 7 days a week work. 7 days a week. Do they get the Sabbath off? Do the priests get the Sabbath off? Why are they blameless? So even in your own, if you're looking at it under Aaron, you still got grace. involved with even that he said, but I'm going to spare y'all because one thing he did, I'm not going to allow y'all to have regular jobs. Well, that means, what does that do for the law that say if you don't work, you don't eat? Yo, we got to always constantly be thinking. The Bible will never contradict itself. Liberty always been around. We're going to hit a little bit of Leviticus 25 so you understand what liberty is. It means freedom. And y'all don't think that liberty is tied with the what? 1865? On the Hebrew definition? Liberty, 1865, Hebrew word.
1865.
Like y'all, they said giving us a little freedom or liberty in 1865, didn't they?
Ain't that something?
That's so they say.
Right.
Allow them to go back and build up what's called Liberia now, the city of liberty. But it wasn't time yet, because they've been at war over there with them Hamites of the land ever since 1865. Charles Taylor and them. That Taylor name came from over here and went back over in Africa. And they've been at war ever since. So did we have a freedom that the Messiah talking about? Only if you get it up here first. The law will make you free, y'all. If you obey and what he say, you have no worry about these nations. If they come for you, they are coming for you for keeping the law, not for breaking it. We got to get both sides of this. We can't rush out en masse when the law has been broken unless we acknowledge that the law was broken, but they exceeded the affliction. At least we got to say that. We can't keep just showing kindergarten graduation pictures and he got killed at 26. It ain't the same individual in flesh. Let's read some more. Where we at?
The Galatians 6.
Galatians 6, yeah, where we gonna hit? Sis, what you say?
She said 7. I should say started 4.
I was looking at 2.
That makes it a 1.
Well, yeah, go ahead, y'all. Get it on in, y'all.
I get it. Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault.
In a what?
In a fault.
See, overtaken in a fault. See, his behavior, he has been overtaken. That means his will wasn't his own at that point. When something overtaken. It's called demon possession. See, overtaken in a fault. Let's read some more.
Ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
See, so this restoring is the flesh guy. And it says restore him to the spirit, not back to his old ways. Right. And open the door for him to get deeper in his old ways. If you can't buy yourself a shoestring, how in the hell is you gonna take on a wife? If you got children, how you gonna give orders? And you in the same house with your children and your mom. Mama told me to tell you, you better take out the trash. She said, you've been living here before I was born. You supposed to take out the trash.
Well, this is sinning all the way around.
Both y'all are. Get off my bed. Get off my bed. I had this room first. Who chastising who? Let's read some more, y'all. See, we have to give these real life examples because it's a living book so you understand the law, how it governs a situation. It just can't be hurled out. It gives situation, just like we read about faith. By faith, Noah did this. By this, they did that. So it explains itself. It tells you the level that these people had faith before the flood. It ain't just showed up in Sunday doctrine. It's made to appear that the New Testament is rolled up and all that's been added because they don't know faith been included in the law. Abraham had. Let's read.
Verse 2.
What it say?
Bear ye one another's burdens,
Uh-huh.
and so fulfill the law of Hamashiach.
Right?
For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing.
When he is what?
When he is nothing.
Right.
He deceiveth himself.
He ain't deceiving me. He deceiving himself. He can't deceive me when he's nothing and he's hollering what he can do. We're going to take down this government. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to jump in cars and we're going to drive to Africa.
How you going to do that?
Look, y'all ain't heard some of this flesh talk, have y'all? I see.
Right.
That's definitely flesh talk.
Let's read some more.
Verse 4. But let every man prove his own work.
Let every man do what?
Prove his own work.
See how every tub got to sit on his own bottom? So that means that if you got to prove your own work, you can't put nobody over you. Because they could stifle you proving your own work. What you gonna do? Point to them? Ask him how I obeyed him. Really? No, every tub got to sit on his own bottom. Messiah at that day, he's going to say, this is what you were thinking. You saw my word say no buddying, no respect of person. Right. Why did you buy that dial that the Holy Discomforter tried to sell you or sold you? And I'm talking about Jermaine Grant had dials made of himself, and they were ordered to purchase them. An idol of himself. Same yellow outfit. And he ordered them to purchase it. If you went in your pocket and made a purchase of that idol, shame on you. If you done it and say, I repented of that, never do it again, ever, 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 understood. Grace has been granted to you to live beyond that point. But why did nobody under these camps put out and say of his members, man, that's idol worship. You've made an image of yourself. This Wisdom of Solomon 14 you doing. It said, curse be even the maker of this. But yet they continue to call him what? The Holy Comforter. He has an award show where he's giving out the angel awards or whatever it is. And the man has it and he said, I want to thank you, Holy Spirit, for what? There should be many in that day to say we prophesied in your name. No, you was playing with a dial. Let's get some more.
Verse 4 again. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another.
And not in a what?
And not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived. Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
So we see the reaping process must be done by the Spirit, because it has to go forth supernaturally first. Because if we think it's about the flesh and you have a child, that offspring could go on. That offspring could do what Joachim did and burn the holy scrolls, the son of a king. Burn them up, put them in a fire. Didn't want to hear it no more. Cut off the line that Joseph came through by what he did. Could never be king again sitting on the throne. Not from this man's loins. Let's read some more. Where we at? We finished that?
Yeah.
Go and hit that while we're at right there. Let's hit that Hebrews 10, 38, 39. Y'all, then we get right into the heart of John 8. That's where I want to get to. Y'all, while we still got a few minutes left. Anybody got any questions out there? And then I'm going to get right here about the circumcision, y'all, so we get some clear understanding that we're not saying that you can go in the kingdom uncircumcised. You can go in there uncircumcised if you have not prevented circumcision from happening to you. If you're an older man, and why it started with Abraham, you're never too old to get circumcised. How old was Abraham? 90 years old at least.
Yeah.
Circumcision at 90.
Did himself, did.
Now, if he already walking like Fred Sanford, what do you think the walk was then? But he did it and kept moving.
With a rock.
With a rock. With a rock. A sharp rock. Where we at?
Where you going?
Hebrews 10, 38.
Hebrews
10, 38, and 39. Hit that real quick, y'all.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38.
What it say?
Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul.
See, them that believe to the saving of the soul, y'all, we ain't into saving the flesh. We're into saving the soul. That's the only time I'm going to see you again. If we get into the flesh, we may see each other again if we both go to the lake of fire. But that's going to be the least of your word. But if we talking about the saving of the soul, which is internal, that's how you will see your brother and drink new wine. But you're not going to do it in this corruptible flesh. It is not going to happen, because that means death is going to reign in the kingdom. You can't have it, can you? That make the word go void. Let's read some more. That's the end of that. John 8 chapter. Start at verse 1. And y'all, this is what we're talking about. Liberty. You're going to see the Messiah get down with liberty. You're going to see the Galatians we talked about, the law of the Spirit. You're going to see the law of the Spirit worked in here versus the law of the flesh that says death should take place right now. Y'all, if it weren't for grace, all of us in this room would be dead except G-Baby. Huh? Well, it all depends on what did happen during them 12 years. I mean, woman-wise. That's all I can say on that. Yes, sir. Because the law is kept at the age of puberty, when a man is able to reproduce life and a woman reach her flower. So at that point, if those rules have not been kept up to par, there's judgment day for it. But it's more on the parents, because they're supposed to teach that. I hear y'all give parties for that too, don't y'all? When a woman reach her flower, y'all still give them parties? Women I'm talking about. Oh, some do it. Yeah. So what that is, it's a training how to deal with coming into that law. Men have the same thing. And look, this is how to tell you so it's without excuse. A woman, a young girl, there's signs that say, look for these signs to know she's coming into the keeping of the law. This is going to happen. She's going to be sore here. This going to happen. And men, it's the same way. They say you're going to know when your boy is of age because his voice going to crack. You know, hey, daddy, can you still want me to cut the grass? You like, wait a minute. Uh-oh, cut the grass. That voice cracked. I better keep a watch around here. And all of a sudden, extra magazines in the bathroom. You're like, oh, wait a minute here. This Sears catalog doing in here. Turn in the underwear section. I better double check here. This boy can reproduce life. I'll be responsible for this. He's too young.
He's watching bloomers.
Hey, let's get it, y'all.
John chapter 8, verse 1.
What it say?
Jesus went out onto the Mount of Olives.
Mount of where?
Olives.
See, y'all, notice where he's giving his sermon from. Moses was on Mount what? So where's Messiah now on Mount of what?
Olives.
Zechariah 14, Acts 2nd chapter say, why do you stand in here gazing, disciples? Where he left from, he coming right back to. Where was he at when he left? Mount of Olives. Zechariah 14 say the same thing. He coming back to the Mount of Olives. That's where he's going to set foot. He's going to leave the same exact spot that he ascended into heaven. That portal's going to open back up. You have a lot of doctors out there that they set up shop on the Mount of Olives around the Feast of Tabernacles, hoping to be right there when it takes place. They know the location that he's coming back. They just don't know when it's going to be. But he told us that's where I will set foot down. I'm not going back to Mount Sinai. Not going back there. If y'all remember Jermaine Grant, when the guy was questioning him about you saying you're the Holy Spirit, he said, you weren't at Mount Sinai when the angel came and talked to me. Negro, you wasn't either, unless, first thing I want to know how you get past the Turkish government to allow you to go up to Mount Sinai and talk to an angel. That's what we want to know first. Let's read some more.
Verse 2. And early in the morning, he came again into the temple, and all the people came down unto him. And he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery.
What they bring him?
A woman taken in adultery.
Now look, ain't this the same thing they brought to Moses, a man that was picking up sticks on the Sabbath day? Same thing, y'all. We're witnessing the same people being brought to who's in the place or so in the stead of God until the rightful heir get there. Same process. So Moses told him, he's going to be like me in manner. He's going to exhibit the law to you. He's going to explain it to you clearly. But the difference is he was in on the lawmaking. So he's greater than me. You can't keep coming back to me. It's like, y'all, we talk about Saul when he said the Lord ain't speaking to me no more. So you go to the people, he said, quit going around them people. He actually went to them people and had them call the Lord from the devil's house. What do you think that's going to get him? Deeper trouble, ain't it? I put soothsayers out and you go to their house to call me about your behavior. You're in trouble for going to their house to call me. You're already in trouble for this. Now you're going to go to their house and call me to talk about what? You've been trying to get at me, ain't you, Saul? I've been dodging your calls, but I see you went to the winter indoor. You really struggling hard to get at me. You're a faithful, long-serving servant suffering, huh? Right. You're taking the wrong information. When the Lord cuts you off, you wait till he come back to talk to you. Just like your parents say, don't come back in here and ask me again, can you go outside? And I say, next Thursday. It ain't next Thursday. Don't come back in here and ask again. And you're saying, little brother, now go in there and ask, can we go outside? Now he's in there with you till next Thursday. Let's read some more, y'all. Y'all know how I go.
And when they had set her in the midst, verse 4, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act.
In the very what?
Act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have that they might have to accuse him.
See, they were tempting him to accuse him of law breaking. If we get him to break a law, he cannot be the Messiah. We keep our jobs, y'all. We keep our jobs. You like what I divvied up to you last week, didn't you? Like what I divvied up to you. And look, the money we got from that idol Diana, that pays fat paper. But with him, All that's getting cut out. Y'all ain't gonna enjoy life like you used to. Now you like riding in that chariot on them doves. You ain't gonna be no more because you gonna have to get a job. So we need to find out, we need to make this Negro a sinner. And we keep our jobs. We keep the money flowing. Other than that, get ready for some applications. See, they tempted him with the law. See, y'all understand this. They're tempting the go-between them and the Father with the law to accuse him. That means to label fault on him, which would wipe him out of the Messiah line. Let's read some more.
But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground,
right,
as though he heard them not.
As though he did what?
Heard them not.
Wasn't even paying them no attention.
So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her.
So right now, is he talking about anybody without 613? And look, y'all, that's on the minimum side. Those are laws, civil, statute, and ceremonial. Then we have the prophets, and we got statutes, judgments that the prophets give out. So it's not just 613. You have prophecy laws that are added on too. But when you want to narrow it down, it could be more or less of 613. You know, that's just a general rule of the first 5 books. But then you have the prophets also that bring in laws, statutes, and judgment. But just so we understand the law, we understand it. Give me right quick, Deuteronomy 22:22. Really quickly, because this is the law that they're trying to accuse them with. Now, this is the hatred and the mindset governed by Satan that they don't know. Messiah was standing right there when these laws were put down. He was one of the authors of it with the Father. Write this down, son. Okay. Write this one down, son. Okay. That was done in the heavens before Adam was created. Write this one down, son. Write this one down, son. Because if everything that Moses got on Mount Sinai is a mirror image what's in heaven, then the law ain't nothing new, is it? The law always been around then. How we keep pointing to Mount Sinai like if you don't get it from there, you ain't got it. How you gonna know from the first Melchizedek priest on earth, Adam, who named all the animals, how you gonna know what a lamb is then? How you gonna know what a goat is then? If he didn't tell you that that's what it is. You'd be sacrificing something else, wouldn't you? Did Abel sacrifice? Huh? He did, didn't he? Where he get them instructions from? To sacrifice the right animal. Sacrificial laws was back then. They're the same law, ain't it? Read some up.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 22.
What it say?
If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die.
Both of them should do what?
Die. Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
Now let's read again what was in John 8 chapter. So now since we have the law, because that's what they quoted, right? So now he's saying, let him without sin cast the first stone, because we're only talking about the law of adultery right here. The woman that's caught in the very act. They brought up the subject matter. But see how they could catch him in this subject matter of law, because law reigns supreme. If Christ broke one law, then he's a blemished lamb at this point. So they gonna bring them law and don't know you sitting right there with the author of the law, the same way they don't understand Paul was a Pharisee, cum laude in Aaron's law. Let's read some more.
Verse 8.
What it say? Read that again over when they brought the woman.
I'm going to start from verse 3.
Or 7, whenever it say, and they brought the woman.
Verse 3. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery.
Taken in where?
Adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act.
In the what?
Very act.
Y'all, do y'all know what they're saying is when we bust through the door, hips was swiveling. Y'all know what the terms is. They got their drawers snatched off or the cover snatched off. Y'all know all the terms. When you get caught. Let's read some more.
Verse 5. Now Moses and the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what says thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him.
See, the whole thing was to accuse him of law breaking, which would not make him the promised Messiah. Let's read some more.
But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience.
What were they convicted by?
Their own conscience.
See, they were convicted by their soul. That's your consciousness, your soul. That's what's on the line for eternal life, your consciousness. It's your consciousness that they come after when the feds come for you. They come for your cell phone. And what else they come for? The hard drive of your computer. Guess why? Because it's your consciousness. This tells these what to type. Big black. Let's read some more. What else to say, bro?
Verse 9 again. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last.
Unto the what?
Unto the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers?
Where are those thine accusers? Right? Because we finna get death put down, right? Give me a little Deuteronomy 19. Just a little bit, because death is on the line. Because he just said, you've got an accusation against you. And they say they caught you in the very act of doing it. Now, if y'all notice, there's a participant that ain't involved so far or being mentioned. Who's the other participant that ain't being involved?
The man.
The who? The man. Where is the man? See, the consciousness convicted them because they were saying, yeah, when he was talking about, look, man, see, man, she keep coming on to me. What a man supposed to do when a woman keep coming on to you and know she married? She keep coming on to you. Dog, I'm with you. She need to be put to death. Ain't no woman supposed to keep coming on to you like that. But ain't once yet said that my responsibility is, that's right. And then look, you throw the first one here. This a good smooth one right here. This a good smooth, and this is a smooth stone. Uriah gave me this day. Look, you be the first one. Bust her head. Bust her head to here. Cause she shouldn't have been tempting you like that and made you undress. You bust her head first. Here, take this rock. Let's read some more. What does it say in Deuteronomy 19? 5 say no one can be put to death without two witnesses. What does it say? Do it say that?
Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity.
For any what?
Iniquity.
Not one witness. Go ahead.
Or for any sin, and any sin that he sinned. At the mouth of two witnesses, or at the mouth of three witnesses, shall the matter be established.
So the matter must be established with two witnesses. At three the most. See how we keep using these numbers? He said, that's all I need is two. Your conscience already gonna be one. Because that's what I'm gonna ask you about, what you thinking. And you gonna know I'm the judge of planet Earth when I tell you exactly how you thought it. What I was looking for.
Deuteronomy chapter 17.
That's what I want, yeah.
at the mouth of two witnesses or three witnesses,
Or what?
or three witnesses, shall he that is worthy of death be put to death.
Worthy of death to be put to death. We just read in Deuteronomy 22 that told you what makes you worthy to be put to death. Now they here to blame the Messiah, and they got jacked up law talking about what Moses said. Did Moses say you could do what they were doing? This why he say the Pharisees and the Sadducees sit in Moses' seat, but they don't do what Moses did. Moses would have never done that like that, not without the other party being there. But yet they ready to hurl an accusation at the king of the world with the law that he held right out, that he got from his father. This is how far gone they are with the little paper they was getting and control of all the flesh of Israel. They start condemning with the law, biting and devouring at this point that they're ready to accuse him because he's telling them the truth. Let's read some more. What else is saying in that John?
You want me to go back to John?
Yeah. You finished that? That's good though.
All right, he said,
You good. But y'all, that's where it's at, the 2-3 witness. So you cannot put nobody to death unless you got 2 witnesses there and both parties have to be there. You have to do it according to the law or it's a free case. What you got, Sid? Something like something on your mind.
Okay, I'm sorry. 2 things. I was thinking about what we were taught that they're called mimics. So when they go to do their prayer or say anything or anything like that, they need ways to do that.
Say that again, Sid.
I'm just thinking back at what I was taught on the Hebrew side.
Okay.
And then when they would go to do any edicts or any prayers or anything like that, they would say you have to have at least 10 commandments.
Right.
The prayer says 10 commandments, that's where you get the 10 commandments and all that.
You're talking about the doctrine of Judaism.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And so with that, I'm looking at when we say there's, when the saying when there's none greater than Moses.
Right.
And what you just said was, I'm all of the past I was taught, you're just making it clearer for me what is the scripture, because it said that how can we bring an approach? Everything has to go back to what Moses.
Right.
So with this, you say it's not Moses. It's going back to Yeshua from the very beginning.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning.
Yeah.
So because it's going back to there, and I understand that, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking always that it's always been, the laws have always been. From the very beginning, since the Father spoke into existence. And there's no however, I'm thinking that I'm not however, any of that. But here's the question is, so when they were bringing these people to be convicted, as now I know it's the Sadducees and Pharisees, but when they were bringing people to be convicted, they actually were not going according to the law. So the laws weren't the 613 or 18, it was according to the dictates of the Creator from the beginning.
Yeah.
And not from what was written from the Sadducees and the Pharisees.
Well, the Sadducees and Pharisees didn't write it. What they were trying to do was explain it from their interpretation. What they said, Moses said in his law, we caught her having committed the sex act. They good up to that point. The problem was in their consciousness, they saying, we're going to give him, the Messiah, a free case if he let us stone her. Because if he's the Son of God, he know we up to no good. But how do you think that in the same breath and don't realize it's going to condemn me? It's crazy. Like you're saying, you already read from beginning to end that Satan going to lose. Why you join his team anyway? I mean, it's already lost. It's like being a dope dealer. every movie they show you what happens at the end. In American Gangster, Denzel, when he got out of prison, barely could walk. That same suit he had on 15 years before he went in, that's what he came out looking around. Dead broke, they show you that. What makes us still want to be a chemical entrepreneur? Do we say, I know how to do it better than he did? See, because I won't let my cousins come in. All you're doing is practicing ill-gotten gain, no matter how you say it. You make your living off the death and suffering of your own people.
Oh.
So in like manner, this is how they were trying to condemn him, you know, but they were hurting their own selves because the very law that they were bringing, it was corrupt the way they were bringing it. They were about to put a woman to death against the law. So they were going to shed innocent blood even though she was guilty. They were going to shed, and you say, how is she innocent and she was, how is she innocent and they called it an act? She's innocent because the rules to convict her, you're violating them. How you going to convict me and you breaking the law? So he say, nobody get punished at this point. But you better not get caught doing this again. You're going to get a little grace and a little mercy right now, woman, because of what they up to. So the whole thing could have been, you could have been conned away from your husband, which you should have still been on your game and said no. But they actually could have conspired this whole event. They could have had him come and grab you because he may have seen a wink or two or something and look off to the side, all to condemn the Messiah. Y'all, this is the attack on the Messiah, not to let this priesthood switch from Aaron back to Melchizedek. Y'all, it's about the priesthood. It started with that priesthood. It has to go back to that priesthood. If we keep under the priesthood of the flesh, we're going to keep condemning people, and the people going to have the rock in their hand. You have that same type of doctrine around here. Somebody do a crime, then the other person get a hold to the crime, yet they punish the person that get a hold to the crime, not the people who perpetrated the crime. He gets the punishment. What about them two, who was the originators of the crime? What about them? Y'all gonna punish them? You gonna let them punish him first? Let's read some more.
John chapter 8, verse 10. When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers?
Were those what?
Thine accusers.
See, so he asked her, who brought you here to be killed? Where they at? What she said?
Have no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee.
So why did he not condemn her and he know all things? Why did he not condemn her? Because he asked, where your accusers at? They gone, they disappeared. He say, well, okay, right now we got 0 witnesses against your crime. Where are your accusers? Let's read some more.
Go and sin no more.
Go and do what?
Sin no more.
So he didn't let her off the hook. He told her, go and don't do this no more. It may not be like this next time. You may not have some people that's trying to find out if I'm the Messiah or not and set me up. You may have got caught up with some more men that's finna pronounce judgment on you. And then the other thing, he hadn't been crucified yet. So he had to still keep the law under the order of Moses and Aaron. That's the main thing. He couldn't break that law. Deuteronomy 19, Deuteronomy 17, what we just talking about, to do it the way they want him to do it. He was still under law of the Aaron priesthood until he was crucified. Go ahead, sis.
So I'm seeing the same thing that was going on then is the same thing that's going on now.
Yeah, you got the same Pharisees and Sadducees today. They dress the same way. They establish laws. They will put you to death on the same law that they just committed 2 hours ago, but yet you get put to death for it. By the same individual dressed up like Levitical priests and hurling laws that they know they should have been dead hours ago. The same thing they condemned. This is what he said. This is how you gonna know them. They gonna quote the law, but they gonna be in violation while they quote it. That's what you got to look out for. So what that means, we have to know the what, D? We have to know the law. There ain't a law in the Bible that say if you don't say God's name like this, you're in violation. It ain't a law, because name is a body of notes. That's God's name, his law. That's his name. If you do his name, you got faith in him. You don't have to say a name. You're already doing his name. You're performing his name. If I keep all the laws and never say Abba Yah, if I never say Holy Messiah, am I a transgressor of the law?
No.
So why do we get into a name game? Did the Son ever call him Yahweh? Is it ever recorded the Messiah ever called him Yahweh? Is it ever recorded the Father ever called him any one of the names in the Old Testament? Was it always Father? And was it always my Son? Did he have to say a name? Did the Messiah ever tell you, go say Yeshua did it? Or did he say, go show yourself to the priest and don't tell nobody who did it? Let them figure out who's in town. What they saying out there? Go ahead. Did you get that?
No one's uncircumcised.
No strength.
No strength.
Uncircumcised in flesh.
Ezekiel 44.
That's what I want.
No foreign.
Not that I didn't know before they were finished. Not that I didn't see it already. But I see it even more and more and more. It's just like history.
Right.
So that's what I'm seeing a different life.
Well, you're seeing it from a different priesthood. See, even Judaism don't mention the order of Melchizedek, nor do any of these ABC camps mention the hierarchy of the priesthood of Melchizedek. They keep you in urn. They Hebrew Israelites. They know they Israelite, but tell me one other camp out there that's saying order of Melchizedek to the left that separates the two priesthoods. I'm not talking about dipping them back into them. I'm talking about running it 100 from Melchizedek or bust. You got more Gentile camps out here hollering that than Hebrew Israelite camps. Most of these camps out here that's hollering, talking about second and third in command, you ask them about the order of Melchizedek, they think Melchizedek is some individual just showed up out of mysteriously and then vanished. Melchizedek, that dude that showed up to the Family Dollar on Kings Highway and Natural Bridge, that Melchizedek. No, that ain't what Hebrews 7 talking about. It sounds like a mysterious individual to him. It's amazing that these so-called high priests don't know who Melchizedek is. You think General Yohanan know who Melchizedek is? How about Free Case Ray and all the rest of them? They don't mention him. Not from being a high priest that overtook this priesthood of Aaron, but mentioned as a foreign individual that happens to show up when he ain't got nothing else to do. Where we at? That was Isaiah 44.
No, Ezekiel
44. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Start at 6.
Ezekiel 44. That's what I want, bro. You know what I want. No. This is just something I was saying earlier when we was in that Galatians. I need to get to know strange, uncircumcised, and in heart should get into the kingdom. So I wanted to get that. That's Ezekiel 44, Octone. Yeah. So we'll get back to that. I'm coming back to that. But see right there, got Galatians 5:0 right there. See that? That's what I got it right there. I need to put that right by my Galatians, so I don't have to search for that no more. My Galatians 5, and look right there, Ezekiel 44, 6 through 9. Boy, just don't look; it be right there in your face. Shalom, y'all.
Shalom, family.
Bye, G baby. Bye, G baby sister. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at? No, not yet. I want to come back to that. I want to get right back to that John 8. We need to roll through that because y'all, we running out of time.
John chapter 8.
I got about 15 more minutes.
Verse 12. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world.
What did he say?
I am the light of the world.
Right.
He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The Pharisees therefore said unto him, Thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true. Jesus answered and said unto them, Though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came and whither I go, but ye cannot tell whence I came and whither I go. Ye judge after the flesh.
Ye judge after what?
The flesh.
Don't you see what the Pharisees judge? He said, you ain't even on my same level. I'm talking supernatural. Y'all sitting up here talking about flesh. Y'all think Mary is my existence. It's like how people talk about sending in your DNA for all them things. Where yours gonna go back but to the slave plantation? I mean, it's the only DNA they got you. Y'all was slaves. Y'all was nobody before we brought y'all here. You think we're gonna send you back over there? Oprah did it. They had her so mixed up. They like, look, you come from the pygmies, mixed with some Aborigines, mixed with some Italians. See, really, we don't know what happened, but you only supposed to be 3 feet tall. How you gonna trust that? Deuteronomy is our DNA. Deuteronomy names ancestry. If you're in violation or found in Deuteronomy 28:16 through 68, that's your DNA. It's the only way you're going to find out who Israel is, because the curse is going to be riding them. They're not a cursed people. They're under a curse. It's going to be riding you, not 50% of it, but 100% of Deuteronomy 16 through 68 will be riding the children of Israel all over planet Earth. If it don't fit, you must what? See, so look, if it don't fit for nobody else to be the children of Israel, and the Edomites over there sure can't say they Israel, because they don't fit nothing of Deuteronomy 28. The Holocaust lasted how many years? What? You say not enough, okay? But what we're talking about is they cannot fit what's recorded in prophecy. Prophecy must be an absolute 100. You can't bring nobody else into the tribes of Israel with your own interpretation of what an Israelite is. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's get caught up. I ain't gonna stop.
John chapter 8, verse 15.
It's time. Go ahead.
Ye judge after the flesh.
Right.
I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true. For I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. It is also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true.
So you see how he getting back? He's saying, y'all, the law y'all quoting, don't it say another testimony of 2 men is true? Go ahead.
Verse 18. I am one that beareth witness of myself, and the Father that sent me beareth witness of me. Then said they unto him, Where is thy Father? Jesus answered, Ye neither know me nor my Father. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also.
See, if I do exactly what my Father do, if y'all know the law, y'all would have known I was my Father's son. Shalom, sis. If y'all knew the law, y'all would have known that I was sent from my Father, but y'all don't know the law. That's the law of your father of the flesh. Your father is the devil. He's the flesh lawgiver. That's what he does. He says, doeth thy will with your flesh. Have abundance of fleshly lusts. That's who your father is. You would have known me if you know my Father. Let's read some more.
Verse 20.
What it say?
These words spake Jesus in the treasury, as he taught in the temple, and no man laid hands on him, for his hour was not yet come.
See, so he's exacting the law, and his hour had not yet come, the time of crucifixion. So he wasn't going to go no way anyway. Because he knew where his hour was. He could not leapfrog prophecy. The Messiah himself wasn't going to do it. When Peter cut the man ear off, he like, no, Pete, you ain't changing this. You're not going to change this. Put the ear back on. Can you hear me? He said, yes. Yes. I hear you clearly. Let's read some more.
Verse 21. Then said Jesus again unto them, I go my way, and ye shall seek me, and shall die in your sin.
Shall die what?
In your sin.
Uh-huh.
Whither I go, ye cannot come. Then said the Jews, will he kill himself? Because he said, whither I go, ye cannot come. And he said unto them, ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world.
So how do you keep reading this and keep saying Joseph his daddy when they stood right here and asked him, who your daddy? Who your daddy? Did he say Joseph? He said, look, y'all ain't getting this. I'm not from around these parts. I'm just visiting to straighten out an issue. But I come from up there. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? They looking like, he crazy. He crazy, but he's quoting us the law as it's written. Let's read some more.
Verse 24.
What it say?
I said therefore unto you, that ye shall die in your sins. For if ye believe not that I am he, ye shall die in your sins.
What does this do for the non-messianic Israelite? What are they going to die in? Unless they saying he ain't came yet. And then they're going to produce to you a sinner because he's already had sin in his life. Benjamin Carter was a sinner already. Hugh Lyon Mitchell was a sinner already, and you put him in the title of Messiah. He was a Muslim. He was Moses X. He was a Pentecostal preacher, son of Hugh Lyon Mitchell Sr., the Pentecostal preacher. He was thrown out the Muslim doctrine because they say he was peeping over the urinals. And then he show up as Messiah. And everybody fall head over heels. He rehabs projects in Florida, like Cabrini Green. It was like that down in them projects, like Pruitt-Igoe used to be. He run everybody out and change them. So this the kingdom that we waiting on, rehab projects. This what we waiting on. Still radiator type of heat we waiting on. So we still have to deal with heat and cold. And then what about saying we didn't have to worry about work electricity? What we selling it on these all tables for? Who this money going to? And why I still got the subscription of Caesar on the front of it? And it still ain't clicked in. So at this point, you want to believe a lie. You see the lie standing right there in front of you, and you want to believe it. Let's read some more.
Verse 25.
We're going to get out of here, y'all. We're going to read this out, and I'm going to read one more. We're going to get on out of here. Go ahead.
Then said they unto him, Who art thou? And Jesus saith unto them, even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. I have many things to say and to judge of you, but he that sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him. They understood not that he spake to them of the Father. Then Jesus said unto them, when ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things.
Was he talking about Joseph?
I don't think so.
Let's read some more.
Verse 29. And he that sent me is with me. The Father hath not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him.
That do what?
That please him. As he spake these words, many believed on him.
So at that time, many believed because they were convinced, got to be the Messiah sent. Many believed at that time. Let's read some more.
Then said Jesus to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
See, so you can't be a disciple unless you do what first? No, believe and do what? Continue in my word. See, it's always two parts to that. You just can't believe. He said to the Jew, look, if you believe, continue to believe, and continue in my word, then you can be my disciples. So faith without works is dead. Works without faith is dead. There's two parts to it. Let's read some more.
Verse 32.
What it say?
And ye shall know the truth. And the truth shall make you free.
What should the truth make you do?
Free.
See, spiritual liberty is truth. Because we have to worship him in spirit and what? See, so that gives you liberty. That you know the guidelines that the Messiah ain't gonna punish me, because your consciousness telling you already, I should die what I'm about to do. I should die what I'm doing. If I'm walking in the spirit, this gonna kill me, or I can't do this. You got to get it out of here first before the flesh get hold of it. Because the flesh is the results of what the mind is saying. The flesh is the side effects. It holds all of your bad behavior because they can't get into the consciousness. It's the flesh work that they dealing with. Just like the boys went in Walmart and shot it up. It was flesh. It was not spirit. It was flesh work. I can't stand the way though the flesh of that people look. Then they got another high school boy, and I'm talking about this type of hatred. He was 18 or 19, high school. He had a M16, and he said, "This how I feel about niggas." And he said, "See that? There's a box of Jordans.
Yeah,
they love Jordans." Pra-ta-ta-ta-ta. He shot the Jordans up. He said, "But that ain't good enough for those dirty niggers." He stuck in a magazine, another magazine, and sprayed it. That ain't good enough for him either. Let me go get my super weapons. And he did that and blew it up where they came and got him. Because he filmed it on Facebook. That's your consciousness. That's why we coming to get you. You showed us how you feel. We can't let you stay out here in the street because you gonna do it. When you put it on Facebook, the rest of the world gonna challenge you to do it. You a fraud. You a fake. Did all that talk on Facebook, got all them guns on your bed, and you ain't did nothing yet. There you go. To go do it. Let's read some more.
Verse 33.
What it say?
They answered him, "We be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free?" Jesus answered them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committed sin is the servant of sin."
So just like they were going, this the same group. They're still in the same conversation of killing that woman. See, because they tempted him. And he like, look, y'all, all y'all was in on a sin hit. All of y'all were partakers of another man's sin. This man was caught in adultery, and y'all was ready to kill the woman and not him too. Something wrong with y'all. Y'all guilty of the law. She's going to go free. But y'all gonna pay for what y'all just doing, because y'all teaching the people how to hate women. How to excuse yourself if you do something wrong with a woman. We mount it up. And this ain't the first time it happened with Susanna in the Apocrypha. Same thing, the elders of the people. They wanted to pull a train on her. Both of them caught each other sneaking, watching her. Dog, you caught, nigga. You come on, man. You a sneaking deacon too. Yeah, they busted us. Well, look. Well, you know, by law, me and you gonna get put to death. We gonna have to do something about it. Well, let's just say we caught her with somebody else. And that's what they did. We caught her behind a juniper tree with a young man. What a young man at? That young man took off running so fast, butt naked, we weren't able to catch him. But we caught her. And this is what happened. And they bring that judgment to the judgment table to have somebody put to death. This is Israel doing this to Israel. And you want to go up under that covenant of judgment like that lays the blame in step number 2 instead of step number 1. We'll after effect get it, but we're not going to go to the root of the problem. So what that means when you don't dig nothing up by the root, what it's going to do? It's going to grow back. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's get finished.
Verse 35.
What it say?
And the servant abideth not in the house forever, but the Son abideth forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. I know that ye are Abraham's seed.
See, he like, I know it. Y'all the same descendants. We come out of the same tribes. We Israel. All of us come out of the loins. I know you Abraham's seed. What else he say?
But ye seek to kill me, because my word hath no place in you.
You seek to kill me because my word has no place in you. I know you Abraham's seed. Let's read.
Verse 38. I speak that which I have seen with my father, and ye do that which ye have seen with your father. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said unto them, if ye were Abraham's children, ye would do the work of Abraham.
You would do the works of Abraham. Was Abraham before Mount Sinai? What works is he talking about? Let's read some more.
But now ye seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth, which I have heard of God. This did not Abraham. Ye do the deeds of your father. Then said they to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one Father, even God. Jesus said unto them, if God were your Father, ye would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech? Even because ye cannot hear my word. Ye are of your father the devil.
Your father the who?
The devil. And the lust of your father ye will do.
The lust of your father will you do. So in righteousness you talk about whoremongering and performing it. That's your father is the devil.
Yeah.
That's what you practice, what your father teach you. Let's read some more.
He was a murderer from the beginning.
What was he?
A murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, ye believe me not. Which of you convinceth me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do ye not believe me? He that is of God heareth God's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of God. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, say we not well that thou art a Samaritan and hast a devil?
Now you want to say what he talking is devil talk because he questioned them hard. You the devil. About truth? You know them two don't even go together like oil and water. The devil and truth, they don't go together. Let's read a little more.
Verse 49. Jesus answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father, and ye do dishonor me. And I seek not my own glory. There is one that seeketh and judgeth. Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. Then said the Jews unto him, now we know that thou hast a devil.
Now we know this nigga crazy. You ain't gonna tell me nobody gonna die. Understand that they are under the law of the what? Flesh. They're not under the law of the spirit. They would have understood what he was saying. Let's read some more.
Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and thou sayest, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste of death. Art thou greater than our father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets are dead? Whom makest thou thyself?
Look, now when have you seen Abraham raise the dead? When have you ever seen Abraham tell a paralyzed man, get up and walk? When have you seen water turn to wine by Abraham? What are you questioning me talking about, am I greater than Abraham? What you done just seen already puts me above that. What are you comparing what I'm doing with him? Did Abraham cure leprosy? Oh, for man. Did he tell him, pick your bed up and walk? Did he tell a man, go home, your daughter already healed? In the same hour. And y'all asking the question, are you greater than Abraham? Let's read some more.
Verse 54.
What it say?
Jesus answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom ye say that he is your God. Yet ye have not known him, but I know him, and if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you. But I know him and keep his saying. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad.
See, now he's saying, look, I rap with who y'all talking about. Y'all so far away from this. If you think I just showed up out of Mary's womb, I talked to Abraham personally. Let's read some more.
Verse 57. Then said the Jews unto him, thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham?
Wait a minute. So where they still at? What mindset are they still in? What's it called? The flesh. Because they think it's about a carnal age at this point. Everything with the doctrine is carnal. So they thinking carnally. You ain't even 50 years old. And you done seen Abraham. What they do then?
Verse 58, Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. Then took they up stones to cast at him, but Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple, going through the midst of them, and so passed by.
So where was he at when this conversation was going on? So they were going to stone an innocent man where? In the temple? Like they killed Zechariah, the priest in the temple, shed blood on him in the temple. You niggas gonna do the same thing to Messiah because he tell you the truth. And notice where they do this slaying at. It's always in the temple where they call themselves being the most righteous. They do the slaying, like they're sacrificing individuals in the name of the Most High. And they partakers of it, they just ain't getting on the fire with them. Yeah, we're going to read this last one, y'all. We're going to close on out. 1 Corinthians, I tell you what, just a quick one. So we understand liberty too. Leviticus 25 and 10, just hit that really quick. And then we're going to hit 1 Corinthians 12, 1 through 11, y'all. We're going to close it on out. But y'all, what I wanted y'all to do is understand what the Messiah was doing when he's talking about liberty. Y'all get into some Mark chapter 2. I want y'all to read all of Mark chapter 2, start about 15th verse, and you're going to see also the instructions of the liberty. When he talked about the disciples going through the field eating the corn. They say, your disciples is sinning. They plucking corn on the Sabbath. That's what they were actually calling work. He like, boy, y'all so far from the truth. It ain't funny. It's just a people just waiting to point their finger. There's a sin. There's a sin. How you gonna hang around that all day?
Right.
Wherever you go, this is what it is. Wait a minute. Wait, hold it. Hold it. That is. Now, see, when you wait like that, you watch them sin. So you're not even to the point that where you're trying to even correct. You're waiting on sin so that you can do what? Accuse. So who's your father? Who's the accuser of man? Satan. If all you do is in the business of accusation, then Satan is your daddy. Because you're not correcting with law, you're condemning with it. But yet at the same time, your doctrine teaches them to be in condemnation. Because it's saying don't believe no matter what miracles you seen. You're going to compare Abraham to the Messiah. Name what Abraham did that supersedes the Messiah. What he did in short 3.5 years of his ministry. He's on earth 33.5 years. What did Abraham do in his 100 years that supersedes what the Messiah did? He didn't even have that baby of his own. If you want to talk about, well, okay, we can name one thing, he circumcised himself. And what else you got? That's going to level up with crucifixion, taking the whips, the scourging, the nails through the hand, through the feet. My father didn't even ask him to do that. We said, do it to your son that we gave you. Not to you, but my father put me up there and followed through with it. You got your son off that altar. So what is Abraham doing that the Pharisees is looking at him and don't even see the Messiah right in front of them? You know why? Because they don't see the priesthood change. They don't want it to happen. If the priesthood change, we got to go get a job. Let's read some more, y'all. We're going to close on out. Where we at? You finished that? 1 Corinthians 12.
Yeah. Leviticus 25 and
25:1. I'm just seeing if y'all paying attention. You see these boys is paying attention.
Leviticus chapter 25.
Zeb got it? Okay. Yeah, this just what we want, just establish liberty again. And y'all see that it's tied again to freedom of bondage. Y'all, I'm not saying the law is bondage. The law keeps you out of bondage.
That's right.
But if you hurl the law at a person consistently about his flesh, he will never get out of bondage because you're trying to correct his flesh, not his spirit. You say, put them people over there and put these people over there. You ain't correcting the spirit. It don't matter over there. He can see through that dress over there. That don't stop what's going on through his mind. Wonder what it looked like under that dress down to her ankles and that head wrap. Because what you thinking, she ain't gonna have on none of them clothes, is she?
No.
Is he going to work with head wraps on and full dresses? And unless he's a clothes burner through the fabric and then to the flesh. And we really need to get him away from around here. Around her. This boy make children with clothes on. Let's read a little bit more. What we at? Zeb, what you got?
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 1.
What it say?
And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come unto the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Elohim. 6 years shalt thou sow the field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof.
Now just skip down to verse 10. Y'all read all that in your own time.
Verse 10, And ye shall hallow the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and ye shall return every man unto his possession, and ye shall return every man unto his family.
So this was even talking about true freedom, because at that point, you could have a servant working for you like a Jeffrey the butler, not bondage like we were under. Y'all, do you know these camps ain't even doing a servant like that? This word, they are following the rules. They actually got them under bondage. Forced tithing. Go work. This is the work. Don't go into a white man's job. You're going back into slavery. You must sail at the oil table. And you must continue to make babies throughout the cities with all table wages. How many Pampers you think you're going to buy with that? And they getting 80% of the all table money. But yet the commandment is go make more babies. You should be able to survive if you believe in God with the 20% left of the all table money that you have. How you going to go home with 20% of the all table money and you've been out there all day? How much oil do you think being sold? You been to work, what you got? We want to know Junior hungry and he been wet. You know, the elders say I am doing a good job and I am diligent in the work for the Lord. Now, next time they say they're going to lower it, but $8 is what? $8! 8 hours and you got $8? That's bondage, y'all. That's slavery all over again. They don't want you to go work for nobody. They want you to work for them for minimal wage. Wear the clothes that they design for you, that they charge you more than Macy's will charge you. Huh? $1,500 for a Passover outfit? No. Admittance fees this far, and you must buy them. There ain't no option. You must buy them. And yet you don't have a regular job. So guess what happens? You're on the hook. So when they run your tab, nigga, you talking stuff you still owe Passover from 2016. You ain't paid off that outfit. And you talking to elders like, You're under bondage. They're doing the same thing to you as the slave master. Where we at, y'all? I want to finish that last one. 1 Corinthians 12. 1 through 11, y'all. Then we're going to jump down to verse 18. We're going to close on out. What they saying out there, two by. Y'all, what we're talking about is everything Messiah is talking about Abraham. There was a priesthood then. Yet, nobody is picking up that there's a priesthood. He met a priest. He didn't meet a Levite. He met a priest, Melchizedek, who happened to be Shem, Noah's son. That was not the Melchizedek that Hebrews 7 telling you who's coming of an everlasting life, because Shem died, didn't he? Y'all, why I'm going to this 1 Corinthians 11 just once again, telling you the only way you're going to find liberty, the freedom, you have to be free to receive the gifts of the Most High. You cannot be in bondage to nothing for the gift. The gifts are not going to come to bondage. I mean, what you going to do? Just think about this. Somebody on death row and you park him a car outside with a bow on it for his birthday. Drive it for me. Yeah, I see y'all. Go around the building one more time. Do it fast this time, though. How you going to receive a gift in bondage? It's not going to happen. You're not going to receive the Holy Spirit with the doctrine of the Pharisees. It ain't coming. It ain't going to happen. Let's read some more. We're going to read this 1 Corinthians 12. Y'all, we're going to close on out.
1 Corinthians 10.
Huh? No, 1 Corinthians 12, 1 through 11.
You got it there?
1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant.
I would not have you without knowledge of a subject. That's what ignorant means. When you look it up, it just don't mean a word to put somebody down. It's with you without knowledge of a subject. I'm not going to have you without knowledge of a subject of spiritual gifts. This is how they come at you. Let's read.
Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaketh by the Spirit, if it...
Read that again.
I'm sorry. Whereof I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of Yahweh calleth Yahushua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahushua is the Lord but by the Holy Ghost.
So you must, this is the only way you can say it. The Holy Ghost has to give you utterance. When he told Peter in Matthew 16, he said, who do men say I am? He said, some say Jeremiah. Some say Elijah, some say you John the Baptist, and he probably shaking his head. John the Baptist, he's 6 months older than me. How am I be him? You know, y'all know the difference between him. He's crying all the way. His daddy Zechariah, y'all know who. He said, but who do you say I am? He said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. He said, you know what? Flesh and blood didn't reveal that to you. Who revealed it to him? He said, Spirit revealed it to him. Upon that rock I'll build a church. Upon that belief that Spirit gives you the answers. Not no man. The Spirit comes to you and deciphers into you what you're seeing and what you're witnessing. Let's read some more.
Verse 4.
What it say?
Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit.
But the same Spirit.
And there are differences of administration, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same Yahweh which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal.
To how many men?
To profit with all.
Every man to profit. Not profit with lucre, but to profit in the bringing forth of the word of the Most High. That's why the Spirit is given to you, not to make money off of it. You know why? Because you got it for free. How you gonna make money off of it? Let's read some more.
Verse 8, for to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom.
See, to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom. So is wisdom the Holy Spirit total embodiment? Because it's telling you got the Holy Spirit right here. To one is given wisdom, because we started off in gifts, right? To one is given wisdom. That's a gift of the Holy Spirit. Wisdom is not the entire embodiment of the Holy Spirit, but one of the gifts. It's a chief gift. Let's get this straight. It is a supreme gift, but it has to be ruled by what? Law. Wisdom must be proven by law, because who was wiser than Solomon? What was it that broke his wisdom? Law breaking. Nobody looked at him wise again. You got 1,000 women and no mandrakes left. You're not wise, Solomon. It's gonna be a whole lot of nothing and stuffing. Then you're gonna have to go to their God and let them do whatever the hell they want, because you can't satisfy the other way. Your wisdom never warned you that you were going to get old, and you have to use wisdom of an older man now, and that may not include hip swiveling. It's going to include caressing and just talking about how it used to be when we was young, like your father Abraham and Sarah were doing with no children and was loving each other. And Hagar had been around the whole time, and not once did he ask, my hips is getting loose. That woman ain't got no man. I need to. Come on, Sarah, you ain't doing it. You ain't getting. Did he ever say it once? And how much paper did he have? He could have easily did. But he didn't. Because that wasn't a concern of his like that. He said, this part of the marriage, I finally done got to where I have to love this individual like myself. We can cuddle, but there's no fire. The fire going out. Messiah say, fire coming back. What? Fire coming back? Fire coming back. Why does one fire come back and make you stare like the fire coming back? Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Let's finish this off, y'all, so we can get out of here.
Verse 8 again.
What it say?
For to one is given the Spirit. To one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom. To another, the word of knowledge by the same Spirit. To another, faith by the same Spirit. To another, the gifts of healing by the same Spirit. To another, the working of miracles. To another, prophecies. To another, discerning of spirits. To another, divers kinds of tongues. To another, the interpretations of tongues.
So the instructions and each gift has an instruction manual of how to deal with the gifts. Tongues is 1 Corinthians 14 chapter. It start off dealing with the tongues of angels and of men, and it breaks down every language of tongues, and it tells you the order. If you receive the gifts of tongue, there must be an interpreter there. Anybody in the Pentecostal church, y'all ever know that somebody was standing right there, interpreter? Just said that the Lord has told her. No, you don't even question it. You just look at it as a gift. They're foaming at the mouth. They're chanting words that can never be explained. Coming in 100, coming in 100. John Claude Van Damme, John Claude Van Damme. Nobody knows what you said, yet you give her all or him all this favor. And this script goes for man and woman. You talking about keeping silence in assembly. They ain't supposed to say nothing in the church. Well, you know what this script said in 1 Corinthians 14? Let him who speak in an unknown tongue keep silent. For it is not permitted for him to speak without an interpreter. That's for a man in the assembly. Shut your mouth, man. What you mumbling? What is you mumbling with no interpreter, man? Keep silence in the church, man. Read some more.
Well, 11.
See, you had your finger on that. No, I'm just messing with you. Go ahead, bro. I'm just messing with you.
I thought it's
Go
something.
ahead. I know you were thinking of
So
something.
many
Too
things
late.
came
Too
to my
late.
mind.
You read. Too late.
But all these, verse 11, but all these worketh that one and self same spirit,
Right.
dividing to every man severally as he will.
Dividing to every man severally as he will. Drop down to verse 18. Y'all read all the rest in between, y'all. We won't just get to the heart of it.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
But now hath Yahweh set the members, every one of them, in the body as it had pleased him.
Uh-huh.
And if they will, all one member, if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you.
See, and this is like the smartest man in the world. He got a head, but guess what he can't do? He can't walk. Care nothing about you being the smartest man in the world. If we holler fire, what are you gonna do? No, you ain't look right. But you just can't run like we can. What you gonna tell us? If thou grab water and extinguish, well, it's a grease fire. Well, if thou grab flour, but in the meantime, you burning up. You still wise, but you can't run. But y'all, guess what? The soul ain't damaged. You can see a handicapped person in a chair, that's the flesh that's damaged. The soul can never be damaged. It will stand at judgment day and it's gonna drop to its knees. And when he get there and find out he's standing up, he gonna be looking for that wheelchair. What the hell? Oh, this judgment. Because the flesh is not wounded. The flesh is not condemned. I mean, the spirit is not condemned. Y'all know what I'm saying. The soul. The flesh is beat up. That's maybe from parents' bad behavior. That's why they say, who did what sin that this man is born blind? Who did commit a transgression that the man is born crippled or blind? They saying a sin caused that. But the soul is not brought into existence with the curse of your father and your mother, how they made you. The soul is fully intact to get past the curse. That's why Ezekiel 18 chapter there. If a man bear a son that is not a robber or a shedder of blood or this or that, that means his soul is separate from his father's soul. He can do that which is right. So contrary to belief that your mother look at your son because she hate the dad and say, you ain't gonna be dung like your father ain't dung. You're gonna be ugly like your father because he ugly. See, all of it's flesh talk, but it ain't soul talk. And he like, no, mama, I ain't gonna walk the way of my daddy. I'm gonna take care of my children, and I'm gonna try to keep a job. I'm not gonna do what my daddy gonna do. You gonna see, don't lie to me, boy. Your daddy lied to me. But you're putting flesh talk on the soul of an offspring. That's the judgment the Father is talking about when you're judging soul and you ought to be judging flesh. Like that for condemnation. You have no power to judge soul. Most High judge soul. He didn't even let Satan accuse soul. Satan accused Job's flesh. That's what he attacked. Did he attack his soul? Is it written that he attacked his soul, or did he attack his flesh? He attacked the flesh of his offspring, his wife. Found out she was a gold digger. Man cursed God and died. What's going to happen then to his soul? Because the money didn't dry it up? You stink. Oh, you stink. Sores on him. Guess who licked his sores? Dogs. Why you think, what does dog saliva do to their wounds? That's who had mercy on Job at that time. Dogs. Licked them wounds for him. And he was stinking, y'all. Do y'all know that's rotting flesh that stank? His flesh was rotting on his body. Let's read some more. Let's finish up, y'all. I won't get too much into that.
Verse 22.
Yeah.
Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble or necessary.
Oh, necessary. Cut your baby toe off and see what happened. See where your swagger be. Let's read some more.
Verse 23, and those members of the body which we think to be less honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness.
See, so y'all, how can you be part of a group that keeps you a buck private and they have you calling them general? Your uncomely parts, you don't talk about them. You got everybody quoting the scriptures for the head and the feet is left uncovered. What we gonna do when it get cold? We gonna walk in the snow barefoot? You ain't got no protection for your feet. You just got a helmet or one of them caps with the ears flapped down and button up under her. You got the head protected. But hypothermia start in the feet if you walking in the snow. What's gonna happen when the feet can't move no more because you can't feel them because they froze over now? Now I feel like you're walking in concrete. And you know when hypothermia set in, guess who get the last bit of heat? The head, the teeth chattering, letting you know that you finna die. Because it's the last substance of the body trying to grab heat. Teeth chattering like a crap game. Gone. Gone like good candy. Let's read some more.
Verse 24.
What it say?
For our comely parts have no need.
What they have?
No need.
Right.
But Yahweh hath tempered the body together, having given more abundant honor to that part which lacked, that there should be no schisms in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another.
What should the members have?
The same care one for another.
You can't have the same care if you give this one a title and you give this one a buck private status. They're gonna stay Gomer Pyle. Let's read some more.
And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. Now ye are the body of Hamashiach, and members in particular. And Yahweh has set some in the church.
See, now he's setting up his church. Some in the church. So how you gonna read Revelations about the church and you still talking about generals and captains that's under the order of Aaron? Have you seen the Messiah yet use the word general or captains over 50? Over anybody. Have you seen the Messiah yet saying, and you shall be over these individuals? Or are we seeing side by side? Are we seeing seek another's wealth? Or are we seeing, I'm gonna put you over this many people? Well, y'all reading that yet? Let's read some more. What he say the church is set up as? The assembly.
Verse 28. And Yahweh has set some in the church. First apostles.
Who?
First apostles.
Generals.
First apostles.
Lieutenants.
Apostles.
Okay.
Secondarily, prophets. Thirdly, teachers.
Thirdly, y'all, we on the third list up here. Teachers. Third on the list. Now, for us to become an apostle, that means we got to have an interaction with Messiah. Like Paul on the road to Damascus. An supernatural intervention. The disciples who were moved from disciples to apostles because they performed miracles and they walked with Messiah. Apostles. First them. That's why the foundations of the new city, the foundation is named after the 12 who? So we're getting foundation. The foundation, as he said, no, y'all should sit on 12 thrones. Who said gonna sit on 12 thrones judging the tribes of Israel? The 12 disciples. This the honor y'all get, but the judgment is not gonna be to condemn them not in the kingdom, but to show them the righteous way. And brother, when you did this, that helped you out. You know, that was it. It's the same trees that was in the garden. You can eat from these trees. The spiritual angels that were in the garden. But this tree, you better not eat from it, and you better never, ever touch it. But the other trees of the garden, you can eat. Now you understand Matthew 12 chapter. A tree is known by the fruit that is bearing. A tree, if it don't do the work, it should be cut down and hewn in the fire. So we know the trees is talking about men. Ezekiel 31, it gets into trees being talked as men. This cedar was Pharaoh. So it lets you know the talk right there so you don't get it misunderstood. When he talk about trees, he's talking about men as individuals. And the trees in the garden, it's the same situation. You be healed by the trees of the new kingdom. The 12 patriarchs that the foundation gonna be named after, and the wall gonna be named after. But the 12 thrones that's sitting around there, that's given to the 12 disciples. Y'all gonna judge Israel sitting there. That's the promise y'all got for hanging with me. A couple people said, no, I can't leave my job. A couple people, but y'all left y'all job, y'all left everything and rolled with me. So I got a reward for y'all. Let's read some more. Let's finish that out.
After that, miracles.
After that, what?
Miracles.
Uh-huh.
Then gifts of healing.
Then gifts of what?
Healing.
See, these are gifts of healing. And what we got to make sure that the gifts of healing is what he says heals the body. You can't bring in no outside source. We know he tells us, eat this, drink this, make sure you do this. If you use anything else for healing, other than the natural herbs that he said and different things like that, when you start to bring in idols, if you start to bring in crystals, if you start to do anything, this is a chain that was made by a brother with outstanding craftsmanship. It's stones. But I'm not going to hold this to feel no heat coming from it, because if I do, something's wrong if I'm starting to feel heat from this. What is this going to do when December comes? What do you think, Mrs. Brother? Hold on to it, baby. I'm telling you, it's going to warm up in here. It's going to warm up in here. No, it ain't. This is fine jewelry. That's all it is. If I feel it can't do nothing, it can't generate heat to do what? What type of heat is it going to generate? Where are you going to put it at? You think it's going to provide the heat that you got ED for a man? I'm just using them words, ED.
I mean lettuce.
Let's read some more. Nice jewelry work, but that's as far as it goes. If you think you can put a crystal under your pillow, put a rabbit's foot under there too. At least you get some money. Put your tooth under there. At least you get some money. But if you think a crystal gonna heal what's going on inside of your body, you are crazy. And then if you say the Aaron had on a breastplate, notice how it runs right back to Aaron. Aaron had on a breastplate. Tell me one time in any script on there where Aaron ever grabbed a ruby. And this represents the tribe of Judah. This stone right here will give him power. That ain't written nowhere. It was just a representation of this stone represents this tribe, because it's such a clear, and all these are hard stones that you can see through. They're crystal clear. There's no what you call leavening in them. That's what he compares this tribe to. And this tribe, and you know what else he did? He didn't even tell you the arrangements of how they go. If it's was the breastplate with 4 stones going across and 3 coming down and make 12? Or was it 3 across and 4 goes down? And how do you count for which tribe? Did he say in the first stone, counting from the left and count 3 shall be? Is it like when they talk about the gate? And the northern gate shall be the northern gates. Reuben, Dan, and such come through that gate. Is this recorded as such? If it's not, you finna play with mood rings. And we had mood rings when we was a children. That's black. You lusted. No, I ain't. No, I ain't. Okay, it turned back blue. You done calm down now. How about a pet rock? They were selling these and it made the man a billionaire. A pet rock. What are you doing with a pet rock? It's the same thing. What are you going to do with a pet crystal? If it ain't used for nothing more than jewelry like it's designed for, you're teaching and you're leading people astray, because it cannot heal them. No inanimate object can heal you eternally. You can put jewelry in your shoes, you can do whatever, but it's not going to heal you. What's going to heal you is what he said. Take this for the body. These herbs, put them in you. That will prolong this dying flesh. But if it's something to say, I don't like the way you coughing, boy, that sounds deep down in your lung. Put this under your pillow and rub some Vicks across there. That cough will be gone in the morning. Guess what I'm gonna have with me all the time throughout winter? This and Vicks. But the problem is, I ain't stopped what's causing me to have that sickness on the inside, which is what? Sin. Let's read some more, y'all. Let's finish that out. But I'm still waiting on that breastplate, understanding which way. Is this Judah? Then the tribes going down, Reuben, Levi, Simeon, Judah. Is this the way it go, or do it go this way? Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah. Is it going this way? There's no description in it because it was not meant for a description. What you're doing is what Lucifer did. He had on a breastplate. How we know you ain't playing with his breastplate? Ezekiel 28:12. It lists what he had in his breastplate, the diamond, the carbuncle. Be careful what breastplate you're talking about. If that's the case, put a rabbit's foot under your pillow. The rabbit ain't lucky, he got 3 feet now, but maybe you'll have some luck. Yeah, right. Finish that off, bro. We get out of here.
After that, miracles, and gifts of healing,
right?
Helps,
right?
Governments, diversity of tongues.
The diversity of what?
Tongues.
You see what's last on the list? Go ahead.
Or all apostles,
right?
Or all prophets,
right?
Or all teachers, or all workers of miracles, have all the gifts of healing, do all speak with tongues, do all interpret. But covet.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Do what?
But covet.
What did Exodus, the last commandment say? Do what? Thou shalt not covet what though? Your what?
Neighbor.
See, there's a part to it. Don't covet your neighbor's stuff. Why are you trying to covet his gift? That ain't your gift. You may have one of the other ones. Don't covet his. So is there a righteous covet? But you can't covet after the flesh. You can't covet your neighbor's stuff. I wish that show was mine. The Lord showed blessing him. I just don't know why he don't bless me like that. I want a new car. I want to speak in tongues.
Where you works.
If Pentecostal means unless you speak in tongues, you don't have the Holy Spirit. The problem is, where is it on the list? Where is it on the list? So you telling me I don't have the Holy Spirit unless I get last on the list. So number 3, what we doing don't count. If we got the gift of teaching, that don't count. I got to speak in tongues. Man-made doctrine, y'all. Let's read some more. Finish that out, last 2 verses.
But covet earnestly the best gift.
The what gifts?
The best gift. And yet show I unto you a more excellent way.
The best gift is to love your brother as yourself. That's what you need to covet. And how to do that. Because you're going to be around these individuals for 1,000 years starting out. Wouldn't you want to know how to get along with somebody more than the weekend? Look, you can go out of town with your significant other and y'all arguing 60 miles before y'all get back home. Why? That's just a weekend. What are you going to do about 1,000 years starting out? And guess what? What if you see somebody there that you think ought not be there? What are you going to do then? You're going to blame the Lord.
Oh, I'm believing.
Like the Pharisees was doing Messiah. We can hold there. Any questions or concerns before we get out of here, y'all? Y'all get a chance, make sure y'all read that Colossians 3:11. And remember that in Mark chapter 2. We need to hit that Ezekiel before we get out of here. Tone was asking me while I was talking about circumcision, but we'll see who can't get in. Ezekiel 44, that's what I wanted, not Isaiah. Just get that, y'all, because I was saying that when we was in Galatians 5 about circumcision. Says nothing. So I wanted y'all to understand that Paul wasn't saying it didn't mean nothing like they portraying it to be. It means nothing in the order of Aaron, because in the order of Melchizedek, The order was get circumcised when you get righteous, then get circumcised. Look, at 8 days old, you are not under law or sin. That's a commandment for your parents. But when the individual comes, whether he's circumcised at 8 days old, once he turned to a man, what does that covenant mean if he go the opposite way of his father that circumcised him? What does it mean? He just got flesh, don't he? He just got flesh with marked with a covenant on the outside. This walk is telling you, don't worry about the flesh. Worry about it second. Get your spiritual right before you get circumcised. Because if circumcision mean this much and then you go put that circumcision in the belly of a whore, what are you doing with that covenant? Huh? Ain't that the last thing you get to see? And if the light's out, you still get to feel it. But if you're in the act of transgression, what are you doing with that covenant? And then you tell somebody we married with what we just did. What? Are you serious? That marries us? Okay. Now be quiet, because my mama and them still sleep. And you put her on your back and you walk up the steps so it sounds like only one person walking up the steps.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah. Where you going, Junior? I'll be back, Mom. I'm going to the store. Shut up. We married. Right. Same way I was thinking. Go ahead. Where we at?
Ezekiel
44, start at verse 6.
Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 6.
Start at 5.
Ezekiel chapter 44, verse 5.
What it say?
And the Lord said unto me, Son of man, mark well.
Do what?
Mark well.
See, this is one thing we got to ask people too when they're saying they're prophets of the Lord. He always tells them to mark well. Even in your sleep, you're supposed to wake up if it's from the Lord and write it down. Look at the clock. Okay. That vision of this is what I'm having a problem with. You write it down so that you can maybe remember and go in your closet and get the interpretation. But I don't care nothing about what you dream and you ain't marked well. You have to mark it down. It's throughout all the right. Note it in the book. Write down when the Most High talk to you so it can be held against you. You think I'm going to play around with you about your dreams you having? Man, I dreamed it was 3 cats jumped off a roof and 2 pit bulls, but they missed them when they tried to bite them. What I'm gonna say? Oh, you finna get devoured, bro. It still ain't good, but I'm making stuff up as you go. 3 cats, 2 dogs. Everywhere we had dreams, wasn't it spelled out? The 7 kinds of 7 years of punishment. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High ain't never had us to try to interpret his word. He sends the interpretation thereof. The 7 fat kind that you saw, that's going to be 7 years of plenty. Y'all going to be eating good. The 7 skinny ones mean you're going to have hard times and hollow stomachs. It's coming. That gets the mental right. But if you just tell me, man, I was dreaming about 12 cows and... Let me ask you something. Did you ever want to be a farmer? See, that's just coming back on you wants to be a farmer. Your body telling you a farmer. You're not an engineer at aerospace company down there making $200,000 a year. You need to be a farmer. It's telling you you want to do cow. You can make it say anything, y'all. I can make a dream be the 41 Lee River roads. Let's read some more. Where we at? Finish that up.
Mark well, and behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, all that I say unto thee concerning all the ordinances of the house of the Elohim.
All of the what?
Ordinances.
See how rules keep coming in, law keeps coming in. Mark well, understand so I know how you plan. Write it down what you dreamed about. Will you write down something you weren't supposed to be doing? Will you write that down? That's why most of us ain't writing it down. You know you all not been doing that. Let's read.
And all the laws thereof, and mark well the entering in of the house, with every going forth of the sanctuary, And thou shalt say to the rebellion.
To the who?
To the rebellion. Even to the house of Israel.
Even to the house of the Gentiles.
Even to the house of Israel.
Even to the house of the Moabites.
Even to Israel.
Okay.
Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, O ye house of Israel, let it suffice you of all your abominations, in that ye have brought unto my sanctuary strangers.
Hold it right there. You brought into my sanctuary strangers. Is this a warning that strangers shouldn't be in the sanctuary? Or is it some about the strangers that we let them in without the requirement? Let's read.
Let's keep reading. Uncircumcised in heart.
Right.
And uncircumcised in flesh.
What was first? So you done let somebody in here that's uncircumcised in heart and the flesh, and they belong to something else. What's in it for you? Huh? Let's read. Finish that up.
To be in my sanctuary, to pollute it.
To do what?
To pollute it. Even my house, when ye offer my bread, the fat of the blood, and they have broken my covenant because of all your abominations.
What have they broken it because of what?
The covenant because of all your abominations. And ye have not kept the charge of mine holy things, but ye have set keepers of my charge in my sanctuary for yourselves.
See, for your what?
For yourselves. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, no stranger, uncircumcised in heart, nor uncircumcised in flesh, shall enter into my sanctuary, of any stranger that is among the children of Israel.
That is the 13th tribe of the children of Israel.
That is among the children of Israel.
See, so you got stranger and you got the children of Israel. That's 12 tribes and that's 13. One or the other. But you allow that to come in. Uncircumcised in heart and flesh. Any strangers around here, we're after a circumcising their heart. And their flesh probably already done. But that's the bottom line. But there's still rules that must be administered. They can't be at the table. You can be in the audience. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. And you ain't never seen it around here any other way. Nor do we say that they can't sit at the table because they're not worthy. It's because you should be a light to the Gentile. The Gentile cannot be a light to you and spring forth the word of God to you. We had a brother Jason, Edomite, stranger believer, went to a young Israel. He said, this is as far as I can take you. I got to take you to Israel and let you hear what you need to know. But brother, you are Israel. That's as far as I can go. Now I can go to my people and teach them that that's Israel. That's Israel. That's Israel. That's what I can do with my people. And these are the laws we got to keep. We got to get circumcised in heart. We got to believe that they are God's chosen and inheritors first. If we don't believe that, we wasting our time at church. We wasting our time. And if you notice, who's the only people on planet Earth that all the other nations, when there's a gift involved, they call it soul. They have what? They're saying the gift is in the soul. Look up soul food or soul brother or something like that. Well, don't look up soul food because it'll tell you.
Swine everywhere.
But that's what we've reduced it to because we don't know better. But they talk about the soul. The gifts are in the soul. They are there. That's what he puts his hand on. The soul get the gift, not the flesh. That's why flesh chasers try to give you a gift from the flesh. Woman, you have no covering. What covering you think they talking about? You think that's a covering up protection and shelter? Or is that a covering? Click up. It's dark in the room now. Which covering you think they talking about? You know what covering they talking about. If it ain't including the other requirements. So y'all, let's get off the flesh talk. Let's deal with this liberty that we've been given through the Spirit, but we got to obey. We got to get on long suffering. We got to get on kindness, gentle, long suffering, meekness, all of that, because if we don't, guess what we're going to have? Strife and debate. Envying and bloodshed of your own brother in the same compound with the law that everybody's got in their pocket. Wait. What the script say, nigga? What the script say, nigga? If you got to ask me what the script say, nigga, and I'm here to fellowship, there's a problem already. You shouldn't have to ask me what the script say, and we're practicing for kingdom, unless you let me in here without that knowledge, and I'm ignorant of what y'all getting down with. Y'all, it ain't hard. It's spirit and truth. Anybody got any questions out there before we close out? What time we got?
64.
Yes, sir. Emo, what you got going? You making ice cream?
I make that.
It's already made?
Yes, sir.
Y'all missing that who did church at home today in STL. Emo to make some homemade ice cream. And we're gonna eat it walking out to the parking lot. No, just messing with y'all. Just messing with y'all. Already y'all.
Already ate some.
Y'all ain't missed out. We ain't gonna make you feel convicted that you didn't come.
We're going to get this closing prayer with the Most High's permission. In the name of His only begotten and beloved Son, our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, locally known as Jesus the Christ. Long live the King. Long live the King. Reading in the book of Psalms, the 64th chapter, and it reads, "Hear my voice, O Yah, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune on lame snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But Yah shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, and all men shall fear, and shall declare the work of Yah, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the Most High, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Hallelujah!
Hey, y'all got a shekel or two. We greatly appreciate it. I want to thank the worldwide family out there for your continued donations and the support of this ministry, y'all, and the gospel of Messiah given to him by his Father. Thank y'all very much.
I want to say all praises to the Most High. We all?
Go ahead.
Just for my little brother Mordecai and his family. They just bought him a new crib on 14 acres. Moving out to take care of his business and raise them boys outside of this city. All praise.
Is that right, man?